All right. Yeah, man, we're rocking it out on this Sunday. And that's my one of my favorite bands called King Buffalo. That song is called Burning. Some kind of like some stoner rock, if you will. Great chorus. That's King Buffalo with Burning. So welcome out, everybody, to another episode of What's Your Question. This will be number 47. This is kind of a special one for me because I have the 47th card in the deck, the 8 of Spades. So you probably saw that on the initial launch of this podcast. I decided to do it in black and white tonight just because my card kind of represents it's the 8 of Spades, and it represents the separation between spirit and matter, and kind of like being in the very middle, which is why I constantly suggest to live a life of neutrality, because it's where you'll be able to be in your heart center the most, and you'll be able to have the very best experiences possible. So anyway, ladies and gentlemen, let's get some dream state logic on. That'll be the background music probably for this entire podcast until we get to the end. But I haven't done one of these in a couple of weeks. Pretty excited. I'm wearing the sunglasses not to look like Joe Cool, but to remind all of you that you are living inside of a simulation. You're inside a movie. That's right. You're in a movie. And the sunglasses, when you see them in the movies, it tells you you're in a freaking movie, okay? You're in a movie. And I have some content coming out, folks, that is just going to rock your world. I have kind of put out some in my preview. Let me take these off. I kind of put out some previews of what's going to be coming down the pike. I'm not sure if I'm going to do these singular or put them into, I have another Random Thoughts number 11, I think, coming out, where I kind of combine a whole bunch of these together. I just have so much content. I just can't keep up. And I have a lot of stuff on my plate right now. And I want to continue to get out this content. I'm really moving more into astrology. I have actually, tonight, I'm going to be showing you a sneak peek on, I started to break down just last night out of the blue, popped into my head because the voice in my head told me to do it, but started to decode Adolf Hitler in World War II. And I'm going to support again that Adolf Hitler was being used. And he didn't have a choice. See, when you realize you're in a movie and you realize that this is not real, it's real to us, but it's not real to what is observing us, the game's changed. The game changes as a human being. Because you realize, because there's killing going on all the time. Constant killing. We're all killing machines. Every time you walk outside, are you looking down on the ground to see where you're walking? Probably not. Life gets in the way, and you're constantly stepping on families of insects, and they got lives too. They got a job to do. But see, those aren't important to people. Because if they just compare themselves, well, it's just an ant or a spider or a ladybug or whatever. But anyway, ladies and gentlemen, this reality is a movie. It's a simulation. It's really what this reality is. And when I release Christmas Decoded, which is going to be highlighting the Christos, I got inspired by Santos to do that. I literally have 3 pages of notes right here on this Christmas. I haven't even started doing it, and I got to jump into it this week. Absolutely mind freaking blowing. And it will come down to one thing. I'm going to summarize it for you really quickly. We are playing the game of light. It's the game of life, but it's the light game. See, that's what I believe. It's spirit saying, hey, I want to go play that game. The game looks pretty fun. And however it gets down here, it beams itself down here, incarnates after 2 people hump and procreate, and next thing you know, you have a vessel to play the game out in. And it doesn't matter because it's not real. So it can do whatever it wants, can be whatever it wants. And that is the only logical explanation for this shit show that we live in that's so beautiful. And that's why I got the t-shirt, pretending. I'm pretending to be human. That's what we're all doing. We're all pretending to be human. Because we're just spirit, we're light bodies slowed down into the physical matter called your temple. And now you're experiencing life through the five senses, maybe more, et cetera, et cetera. So a lot of stuff's transpired. Wow. Just got back from Tulum. I went down there for a couple of days, had a really good friend of mine from the U.S. down there. He's living down there part-time. I got to go down there. Man, let me tell you, that place, woo! That place is booming. Booming. Really, really interesting place. A lot of stuff going on down there. Like, you have everything there. You want to go party, you can go party. You want to get spiritual and you want to do ceremonies, you can go do ceremonies and get spiritual. You want to do yoga and Reiki, and it's all there. It's like the flagship of Mexico now, Tulum. It's pretty awesome. It's pretty awesome down there. So, ladies and gentlemen, what are the cards for today? This was a rant. Like, somebody asked me, are you going to do this? And I'm like, So I'm like, all right, why not? So I just filled my belly. I had some sauteed spinach with corn and sweet potato. And now I feel good. I feel alive. And here I am. And I just, I'm a huge fan of the number 8. Today's the 18th. And now I've become a huge fan of the number 18. Tied to Jesus and Christ. Jesus and Christ both equal 18. 18's tied to the moon, tied to our emotions. Anyway, today's card for December 18th is this one right here. The King of Hearts. This is a very interesting card because it's card 13. It's the King of Fire. This would literally be the decision maker from fire, from plasma, from the sun, however that looks, and saying, hey, I'm going to go play that game. And it's the King of Love. This is a beautiful card. If you get this as your birth card, man, you're in rare form because there's not a lot of those out there, but it's the King of Love, man, the Master of Love. And then every card, well, I shouldn't say every, most cards have a counterpart to them. And one of the counterparts to this card right here is none other than Elon Musk's birthday card. The Two of Clubs, which is an air suit. So you have fire and air, and of course, when you add those together, you get a blaze. But this is now making the decision using your mind. This represents the mind through these cards to end up, forecasting your long-term plans. And that's the beautiful part about the tarot now, because we want to we think in pictures, right? We think in pictures. So let's show all of you that, and then I'm going to get into your questions, because this is what's your question. I appreciate each and every one of you being here. You could have been anywhere tonight. You decided to join in here tonight, and I appreciate each and every one of you. All you great decoders around the world. A lot of you great decoders. Okay, so we have the King of Hearts, today's date, December 18th, tied to the King of Cups. And this is going to be card 50. In God we trust in numerology equals 50. And then the counterpart to that is the Two of Clubs, which is the Two of Wands. And here's Elon Musk's birthday. Look at that card right there. What do you think that is? It's a guy holding the world in the palm of his hands. He's standing between two pillars representing the sun and the moon, the arc, the pillars. And it's now you're trying to make a decision on what it is you want to do. This is the futurist card. That's what Elon Musk got as his birth card. You think that's an accident? I mean, people ain't humping trying to get, yeah, you can maybe hump and kind of get in a roundabout data when your baby's going to pop out. But come on. Unless they have some secret technology where they're pumping them out through, they've come out recently said, hey, we're making babies in the lab now, but maybe they've been doing that all along. Maybe Elon's a laboratory baby. I don't know. But it doesn't matter, because broke down so many other people and their lives are scripted. So why would it be any different from anybody born at any different time? Wait till I show you Adolf Hitler's chart, his birth chart. And the start of World War II on September 1st, when they invaded Poland. All scripted. So I say that Spirit said, hey, I want to go down there and I want to be the leader of going into the war. I want to go be the dirty dog. I want to be the guy who's going to be the dictator. I want to go try that guy because I'm tired of being the good guy. Like I've been the good guy so many times. I'm bored with that. So now I'm gonna go be this very evil, deviant kind of dude. I mean, what's good for the goose is good for the gander, man. These astrology charts don't lie. When you see repeated patterns over and over, and then you apply the tarot and the cards of illumination and alchemy and dates, and it's just insane how accurate this stuff is. Yeah, Homelander that's a great show. If you haven't seen The Boys on Amazon Prime, that big shout out to Amazon Prime. That show's just, I mean, that is just the epitome of like having power and then just abusing it, you know, in the sense of these adjectives we use for the words to describe these subjects. So I'm going to be looking over here. This is where I have my, the chat. All of you here are right here. So I'll be looking over this way as I go through this. Be bad boy Logan. Oh, believe me, Pamela Swan, I have definitely been a bad boy in my past. Trust me. And I've been open about all. I mean, I have lived the life of a movie. Been to prison, went in the military. That was another prison. Went through the pandemic. That was another prison. So you could technically say I've been to the prison 3 times. It's kind of funny. This is the fun I have with this reality because it's just a big shit show. It's a big soap opera. We're living inside days of our lives. It's a soap opera. As the world turns, guiding light, all these crazy names for the soap operas, which especially like guiding light tied to Lucifer, the light bringer, who brings you the show. It's just funny, man. This reality is got to be the funniest thing ever. And you know, I mean, that's nothing to take away from people that got shitty codes. You know, I have postulated this many times, ladies and gentlemen, maybe would be with the free will that we have. And I say that with maybe. We're supposed to be service to others, help people, be a good person, you know, service to others. And you level up, you check things off the box because what if you get, what if you don't get the boxes checked off? And then you reincarnate and then you have to come back as some guy who gets murdered. As I had postulated when I was breaking down some of these serial killers. I mean, imagine you got the life of Ted Bundy. That dude. Imagine you incarnated and became that guy. How you think that's a good life to have? That would be absolute hell. And then the people in his path, maybe those people deserved it. Maybe they just, I broke this down with O.J. Simpson. You know, maybe Nicole and Ron in their past life, maybe they did some real dirty deeds, man. See, we can't just say, oh, well, that's just all good for I mean, it all comes down to just an opinion, but what if that is really the way it works? That's why, you know, I suggest it's like, you know, scripted or not, man, if you resonate inside of your heart, you're like, hey, I want to be a better person. I want to do more good for the world. I want to be a humanitarian. I want to start helping whatever, then go do it. Talk is cheap. Go do it. Go help people. Be the best little devil you can be, because that's exactly what we all are. We're little devils down here. Me, you, and everybody else. That's why we sin. We're having the Jesus Christ superstar experience. Your adversary is your ego. And your ego's adversary is your spirit. Goes both ways. So a big shout out to Jordan over at Waters Above Crypto. If you haven't been watching this, he's what a great guy he is. We've done back-to-back podcasts. So big shout out to Jordan. Go subscribe to his channel. I have some really good material coming out and some podcasts as well with some other people. I got a big one coming out with somebody from Israel, the great country of Israel. I'm doing a podcast, big time podcaster over there. So I'm pretty stoked about that this coming week. A lot of good stuff coming down the pike for all of us here, because I'm taking all of you with me. This Decode Your Family, Decode Your Reality family. It's not just me. It's everybody here. All right. So we can talk about anything you want. Just keep your comments cordial, because Steven, my main man, is one of the moderators in here. And trust me, There's no room for talk. You don't have to be toxic. You don't have to agree with me. You don't have to like me. Just don't be a ding dong in here, okay? Just be a good person. Or just don't say anything at all. Just listen. And if you don't like me, then what the hell are you doing here? Because Stephen has my permission to kick you out. And then I'll block you, like I have so many people. Why would you want to keep, people say, oh, I want to be freedom of speech. Dude, I don't even hang around with people that are toxic. Why would I even want to have you part of this channel? No thanks. Go hang out with toxic people. You'll have more fun with them, trust me. I like to say I'm an angel with a pitchfork. That's pretty funny. Telling you folks, we're living in a simulation, man. Simulation meaning an experiment, meaning a movie, meaning it's not real, okay? It's not. When I come out with this Christmas and Christos, man, you're all having the Jesus Christ experience. And the Jesus Christ experience tied to Christmas on December 25th, the day that reason. I'm going to show you why that day was chosen. And it starts in the third eye. And then it goes down. If you want to go, here's Santa Claus right here, right? And the colostrum and all the stuff tied to the brain. And the thalamus. Thalamus is heaven, because thalamus and heaven both equal 27 in numerology. And the thalamus is, and a big thank you to Santos, because I got inspired by him. I watched his great video. If you haven't seen the 1 hour video they put out there, it's amazing. On the Christos, the raising of the oil. But in there, he talks about the thalamus. And the thalamus is the all-seeing eye in your brain. It's the very center. It's your iris and pupil. And that thalamus in numerology equals 27, which is a match to the word heaven. So heaven is in your brain. It's not a place you're going to go to. It's in your brain. 27. That's why chaos and order, the cobalt element is the 27th element, because you have chaos and order in your brain. Heaven and hell is chaos and order. But you start at the third eye, and then you descend down like Santa Claus does, down the chimney, and you end up in the solar plexus, the manipura, which is yellow. And now you're in the belly of the beast. We're all inside the belly of the beast. I had come out with this on my Flower of Life Decoded, which is even old. I need to redo that, but I showed that we're living inside the belly of the beast, which is the manipura, which is the lower chakras. And you're in hell. That's why it's yellow. And the egg represents the sun, and just nature just reproduces itself in different fractals. But Christmas, what's interesting about Christmas coming up, right? Probably the biggest holiday ever, is that the December 25th date, ladies and gentlemen, December 25th, is this card right here. Well, what is the third eye? What number chakra is the third eye? Well, it's the 6. Whoops. It's the 6. So this represents the Christ. And then when you take it and put it in the tarot to get the picture, because we think in pictures, there's 2 cards that emerge, a major arcana and a minor arcana. And I'm going to show that to you. This, because Christmas means the light game. The game of light. Okay, that's where light slowed down into physical matter, and then we start playing a game. And the game is already predestined. It's already fixed, and there's nothing you can do to change that. That's what I believe. I support that as well. Where the hell is, okay, there it is. Okay, so the day of Christmas, the 6 of Hearts, when you convert it into the tarot to get the picture, it becomes the 6 of Cups. Right there. And this 6 of Cups it means nostalgia. It's chivalry. It's a dude giving flowers to a chick, or a boy giving flowers to a little girl. 6 is the last day of creation in theology. 6 is the first perfect number in mathematics. 6 in alchemy is carbon. Carbon is the 666 element. 6 neutrons, 6 protons, 6 electrons. That's what we're made up of, carbon. Carbon-based, this whole reality. What do you think of diamond, pressurized carbon, right? So the counterpart to the 6 of hearts on December 25th through the cards and the system of the cards, why they're so beautiful and accurate, is this one. This is the 29th card in the deck. So Santa Claus comes down the chimney representing descending down to play the game, to bring you your gift called life. And then now you're playing the game of life with this card right here. And this card right here is the card of Satan. Sure is. Satan is time. Is there a little boogeyman running around trying out to get you? Well, I don't know of anyone. I guess if you want to believe in that, I'm not going to stop you. But this card right here, I mean, if you look at the two cards, there it is. It's the two chakras. Here's Christmas right here. 6 of hearts, third eye, 3 of diamonds, solar plexus. 6 and 3, 63. And if you watched my decode called Exit, I showed how to exit the game. You know how you exit the game? Through copper, which is the devil, which is this. Copper's 29, this is the 29th element. So people out there celebrating Christmas, really what you're doing is you're celebrating duality, just like Thanksgiving. Because we're all having the Jesus Christ Superstar experience. All of us. I mean, yeah, you can get in all the technicalities. It's pagan and the tree and the star and you have all this and the tinsel and la 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 la. You have all that stuff. You can get into all that. Sure. But, through the mystical arts and the esoteric, I mean, it's pretty crystal clear with these. And then when you get into the tarot, you have the card of nostalgia. Okay. Like, hey, I want to go play the game, become a kid again. And I believe in magic, et cetera, et cetera. And then when you get down here in hell, in the solar plexus, in the belly of the beast, okay, to play out the game called life, knowing that you're going to face death. If you're up in the spiritual realm and you're like, I don't care. It's like you go to an arcade. Like when I was growing up as a kid, I would go to an arcade. We pump quarters in that machine. And you'd have like a pocket full of quarters. And it's like you die, game over, throw another quarter in there. Well, you think it's any different with this reality? Nope. Just lasts longer. So the 3 of diamonds, which represents the hellish game that we're playing, right? Where's The Apprentice? It's kind of interesting because Donald Trump has the card of the Satan card. As funny as it is, his fate would happen. There it is. So Donald Trump, this is Donald Trump's birth card, June 14th. I mean, there are other birthdays, but the tarot is this one. So when you finally decide you want to come down into the game of life to play, then you come down through the chimney like Santa Claus and you become this card right here. The 3 of diamonds is the 3 of pentacles. This card right here is the apprentice. Okay, now you become an apprentice. Now you got to start building shit, creating things. You don't have a choice. I mean, even if you take these 2 cards and you move them like this, put them like this, what number do you get? 36. You know what Jesus Christ is in numerology? 36. Operating system. The word operating equals 36. This Christmas one is like, I was like, I'm so wowed by it. The code is just very, very case specific. It's undeniable in my book. But again, I'm not here to force anybody. Don't care. I'm at that stage, I don't care. You don't have to believe me. I don't care. I could keep going believing the things you want to believe in. That's fine. But I know we live in a scripted reality. There are no such thing as mistakes. There can't be anything as mistakes. You're just going to either have a smooth code or you're going to have a little bit of a bumpy code. And then you still get into the adjectives to describe the subject, which is the journey. You're just going to have a journey. Someone's asking, where can you learn about it's actually called cartomancy, but cartomology, the cards of illumination. I'm going to be coming out with a course, just a basic one. I think I'm just going to give it away because I just want to. I talked to my friend Sharon Jeffers, the great author who I learned a lot about the cards from. I have my own methodologies now from hers, but she's been doing it for like 30 years. I talked to her the other day. She supposedly says she wants to do another course. She doesn't have a set date yet, but she was talking about maybe in the springtime of 2023. And so if she decides to have that, I will definitely let all of you know. And you can sign up. I don't know what the cost would be. I know hers she'll charge, but it'll be like a 6 or 8 week course. So, whereas mine, I'll probably just going to pump it out here on YouTube. Big shout out to YouTube for letting me use this platform and show you guys my methodology. I'm not going to, a lot of people ask me like, hey, how do you do sports? And it's like, I'm not teaching you how to gamble with this stuff. But I mean, it's just so accurate. It's just so accurate. I mean, it's easy to decode it. People want to predict things. That's a little more challenging because you can't just use one system. You'd have to use multiple systems, astrology, numerology, the dates, prime numbers. I mean, there's a lot of layers, and the more layers you can get into, the easier it becomes to kind of figure it out. So I would just say, start studying your cards. If you want to know about the cards of illumination, study your cards, memorize your cards, your 4 primary cards. There's a really cool website called 7 Reflections. If you type in 7 Reflections birthday card, it should pop right up. You can click on that. It should give you your 4 primary cards and then typically your planetary ruling card. Your planetary ruling card is a big card that you'll carry around your entire life. The planetary ruling card is based upon where your is it Mercury? No, who's the ruler of your sun sign? So what you got to do is you got to go into the chart here. You got to find out where your card's located, and then they go in order. It starts with your card, which is the solar card, the sun card, and then it goes Mercury, Venus, Mars, Jupiter, Saturn, Uranus, Neptune, Pluto. And it goes in a certain order. And so if you have the thing is that now you're going to get a little bit into some challenges because many of you have a double sun sign, meaning that if you're a fan of the tropical astrology, you may be a sun sign, like I'm a perfect example. I'm a Aquarius sun in the tropical, but I am not in the Vedic and the sidereal. I'm actually a Capricorn. So I'm a Capricorn, Aquarius sun. So I have 2 planetary ruling cards. Some of you only have 1. And you got to read from both, folks. Because if you say, well, no, there's only just one. If you're a fan of astrology, why would you exclude Vedic? It's older. I'm not saying it's going to have more merit or value because each system has its own set of expressions. But as a fan of the mystical arts, studying all these platforms, man, it's just best to study them all. Am I a one-man show for my business currently? Yep. Right now. Have you heard of the no-hide laws? I have. Yep. So Jerry's asking, do you have any words on the 10 of clubs? Well, the 10 of clubs is the 23rd card in the deck. It's tied to Bitcoin because Bitcoin equals 23. The 10 of clubs. You get into the British government and it's located at 10 Downing Street. Why the number 10? Start studying the esoteric. What is so big about the number 10? Tied to the binary system. Start studying the binary numbers. But But the 10 of clubs sits in the Mars line and the crown line. So it's a very heavily Mars-based energy. And it's tied to Bitcoin. It's tied to Bitcoin. The 23rd card in the deck is tied to the words crown, blood, history. The 10 of clubs is. It's a mind suit. So a lot of people that are 10 of clubs, they're either going to be super religious or they're going to be, super spiritual. I don't think there's really a happy medium in that card, the 10 of clubs, but it's a highly intellectual card. I mean, my mother has that card as her birth card. The counterpart to that card is the Jack of Spades. The Jack of Spades is the spirit card for the 10 of clubs. And Bitcoin, the release of Bitcoin on the Genesis block Bitcoin on January 3rd, 2009, the official Genesis block was a Jack Spades card. So when you look at Bitcoin, let me just show all of you. I mean, those of you that have this card, I mean, these two cards, it's pretty phenomenal. You're going to have more than this, but this is a great example with Bitcoin, right? Because Bitcoin, the word Bitcoin equals 23 in numerology. There's the 23rd card in the deck. This card is the card that is kind of married with the Jack of Spades, and this Jack of Spades being the 50th card in the deck. This card right here was the card on January 3rd, the official Genesis block release, 2009. So if there's any cipher that anybody out there in the land of coding uses of numerology, they're using Chaldean. That's a done deal. They're using Chaldean because it matches up with the cards, the alchemy, the tarot. You're not going to get this with any other cipher. But anyway, this Jack of Spades, man, card number 50, in God We Trust equals 50. There were 50 tokens on the Genesis block release on January 3rd, 2009. Why do you think 50? Cincuenta in Spanish, and 50 is tied to tin, and tin is the merger of worlds. Tin's alchemical element symbol is tied heavily to XRP and Ripple. It's pretty awesome. And the rising of the Phoenix. The Phoenix is going to be tied to Scorpio. Phoenix is the eagle. Let me so I've done this so many times. You guys should know this. Some of you. Oh, 7 reflections. Here, I'm just going to type it in big bold letters, 7. Just copy and paste this. There you go. If you just copy and paste that 7 reflections birthday card, it should pull up. Let me just double check for all of you to make it easy. Yeah, the very first link, it says Destiny cards, and then you just type in your birthday, and then it'll give you a description of each one of the cards. See, folks, it's very plausible to think. I mean, when you go to Vegas or Atlantic City or anything like that, you got a hand. You got playing cards. Like how many times people use these things daily? They're gambling in the casino, and the house always wins. And what if we're being played? What if whatever's up there or out there or however the hell it works? What if they got cards in their hand and we're the cards? They're like, oh, I'm Logan. Okay, I'm gonna discard his card. Or I'm going to fold, or that card's got a lot of value. See, if you start to study your card and you know what you're tied to energetically, and you become that, it allows you to look at your programming that you've been dealt from your past, and you can start to say, well, that's kind of not how I show up in life, but I show up in life that way. So you want to start doing some shadow work, some mirror work, some, slicing and dicing, cutting the cancer, cutting the programming in your life. As I have said so many times, if you got kids, man, I mean, if I was a dad I would be freaking decoding my kids all the time. And then I would start to look for markers. I mean, if they're young, well, they may not understand this information, but you would. And you start to look at how they play, what they're good at. And that'll help you as a parent, teach them or at least push them or encourage them to go a certain way. Like, what do you want to be when you grow up? And then you can start to look at their astrological chart. Folks, this is the future of our reality. It's coming back. It was already, I believe it was here at one point, but it's coming back. Silvana, you are Pisces. I don't know. Sometimes, depending on what day you're born, you'd have to look it up. You got to look up your charts, folks. Go to, all of you here that are willing to learn. All right. I'm going to put up, here are the two websites. This is the websites that I use. Actually, you know what? I'm going to take you on a little journey because, I want to show you exactly how to work it. Hang on. Okay. Let me just get this set for all of you. So I've done this before, but folks, I mean, if you're interested in this kind of stuff, then roll with it, All right, so here's the website that I use to look up your sidereal / Vedic. Now, if I had to pick one that I feel has more merit to it, or that is a little bit more accurate, it's going to be this one. It's going to be sidereal over tropical, only because there's more moving parts and you have more things to observe and define yourself from. Okay, but this is the website called it's astro-seek.com. Let me get my cursor, my highlighter. All right, astro-seek.com. And you're just going to go to this first tab right here, and you're going to scroll down to Sidereal Astrology Calculator, the third one from the bottom. You click on that, and then you get to this page, and then you just type in your information here. Okay, you put in your birth parameters. If you don't know your birth time, that's fine. Try to guess what it is. I'm going to tell you why. You'll be totally fine without it, but let's just put in Boston, Mass, right where I was from. Click on this right here, and then once you get your chart here, you see, then you can click on this chart called the Nakshakras, and when you do that, it gives you now an extension beyond the zodiac signs. You have the 12 zodiac signs on the outskirts, but on the inside, you have the 27 lunar mansions, the star seeds. These are kind of like the micromanagers of each zodiac sign. Okay, and then you can you can come down here and you can look at where your planets are, what nakshatra they're in, what degree they're at, what sign they're in, who the lord of the nakshatra is, and there's 4 padas, meaning 4 divisions of each one of these nakshatras, okay? But some of you will have a double sun sign. For example, if you look at right here, here's the sun. Right now it's December 16th, and in the tropical, it's in Capricorn already. Not in the sidereal, it's not. It's still in Sagittarius. Matter of fact, December 25th is going to still be in the sign of Sagittarius. So this is why I know for certain that there are 2 signs always ruling over this reality. And this right here is father-son, because Sagittarius is ruled by Jupiter by default. And then the father of Jupiter is Saturn, and here is Saturn's zodiac sign, Capricorn. These 2 right here, father-son, side by side. Okay, and then below that, on the opposite end, is Cancer and Gemini. And this one's ruled by Mercury, and this one's ruled by the moon, and these both run our emotions. I've shown this in my other decodes before, but this is exactly how you look up your sidereal charts. Okay, I have this coming out with my course. I'm going to go and break all this stuff down for all of you. I'm still working on it. It's coming out, but I'm going to be, when I come out with this, folks, it's going to be a game changer. You'll never have to get it. I'm saying this just like, is it going to ruin my business? No, because what I'm going to say is that you won't, if you're someone who likes to do research, you'll never need to get a reading from anybody. Not on your chart, but if you want to get into like transits and reading charts of the now moment to figure out how it's going to play out in your life, that's a different story. Because every day those things are moving. Tony's asking about special numbers. Go look them up. I'd rather have you guys go look them up. Perfect number 6, second perfect number 28. Go look up what is a perfect number. These are very case-specific questions that are not generalized, and it would be very detailed for me to go into. So I'd rather have you go and do a search in that context and go read about it yourself. But 6 is the very first perfect number, tied to the element carbon, tied to the third eye. Tied to the 666, tied to the house of Virgo, tied to the 6th nakshatra in the sign of Gemini called Ardra. So there's just so many connections to this right here. Across the way from Virgo is Pisces, the 2 fish. Jesus was born of a virgin. That's the number 6th sign. Across the way is the 12th sign, which is Pisces, and Jesus was a fisher of men. 12 and 6, you bring them together, it's going to give you the number 18. 12 plus 6 is 18, and voila. Just like that, the word Jesus equals 18, the word Christ equals 18. 126 is tied to the element iodine, which is the 53rd element. You go to numerology again, and one of the original spellings of Jesus is Yeshua. Yeshua through numerology in the original Aramaic Hebrew is 53. Okay, this is all part of the scripted reality. How did I learn astrology? I taught myself. Watched videos, read a ton of books. Just self-taught, just like all my graphics, self-taught Photoshop, self-taught Illustrator, self-taught After Effects, self-taught Adobe Premiere, self-taught Camtasia. I just taught myself, but it was part of my code. I'm an artist. I have a lot of I have 5 energies in my 3rd house, which represents communication and creativity. What do you think I'm doing? My claim to fame is taking the occult aspects and creating art with it, which is what you're seeing with my channel. And doing readings, being able to interpret charts, being able to connect to the Akashic records. My totem, if you haven't done your totem pole, using the medicine cards, my root chakra is the whale, which is the Akashic records. That's the card I pulled. My root. I'm tied right into the ground of the Akashic records. So is everything I'm saying going to be true? Not necessarily. I've said this before, if I lay out all my truths on a table and we go over them and get graded on them, I know that there's going to be things in there that are going to have discrepancies. I know there's going to be things in there that are not going to be. I know this. I'm not a perfect human being. But I'm authentic enough to say it because I don't care what anybody thinks anymore. I used to care a lot when I was growing up. I don't care anymore. Doesn't matter to me. Tony, I've answered your question. 6 and 28, go study the special, they're called perfect numbers. 6 is the first perfect number, 28 is the second perfect number, and so on and so forth. You'll get more, if you're interested, if you asked it like 3 times, trust me, you'll get more if you go read about it. You'll get more from it if you go read about it with your own little voice in your head. The U channel, can you read this coming year in time? Well, I have my own methodology, right? I look for symbols and signs on the world stage. I'm not big into predictions. You get crucified when you get them wrong. But I can tell you right now, I will say, and I'm going to say this very loosely, with a lot of vanilla. Okay? So don't go out there and say, well, Logan said this, and this is my opinion, and it's a theoretical opinion. I have a feeling that 2023 will be the year of the official kind of launch of cryptocurrency. And then 2024 will be probably a major change in the world, 2024. But these are purely theoretical, what I'm saying here. And there's nothing to fear, because if you buy into certain things and you start to fear it, you lower your frequency down in the lower chakras. You do not want to be there all the time. Some of you are. Some of you live in your lower chakras all day long. It's not a fun place to be all the time. John Ferguson, how much change do you think we will see in the new age of Aquarius? Well, I mean, technology is advancing rapidly. I think that, I have said this, postulated this, unless there's a fork in the road, we are moving towards transhumanism. Now, I know that's going to piss some of you off, and some of you that are still in the programming of, well, you're really heavily into theology. Look, the Bible, even Jesus even said, follow me into the house of Aquarius. So obviously, the handwriting's right on the wall right there. The Bible is a book of transhumanism. If you know how to read it and interpret it, it's a book of transhumanism. So the most popular spell book on the world stage, it's a book of transhumanism. You don't have to agree with me. I mean, Revelation 21 verses 1 says that there will be a new heaven and a new earth, and the sea will be no more. What is the sea? Well, Revelation 21's the world card. I went over this. So the tarot is right embedded with the Bible. Yet the churchgoers, including all the people that I was raised up with, these are the boogeyman. These are satanic. Don't go playing around with those things. But yet I can decode the Bible with them, though. What a freaking contradiction that is. What a paradox, I should say. But I lost my train of thought. All right, let's go. Audio channel. Do we look at the sign when a person was made during intercourse rather than the day they were born? Yeah, you can. I've messed around. I have said on many podcasts that you can take the date, the time and date.com. You go to that calculator, you put in your birthday, you can add, subtract days. And I had suggested many times for all of you to subtract 281 days, which is the typical gestation period from when the seed starts to do its magic and becomes an embryo and moves into the baby form. So you can go back 280 days, and then you go look on the calendar and see what card that is. And then you go read the card, and if you're like, holy shit, that card is totally me. Well, then you're onto something. Why would you dismiss it if it's totally you? 281 is the 60th prime number. 60s feed the wolf. That's why if you start looking, you'll see 128, 182, 281, 218. You're going to start seeing these numbers tied to the game of life. 60, 600, 6,000. 6 is carbon. You add a 0 onto it, it's still going to have the 6 there. The 6 is still going to be staring you in the face. Say, hi, I'm the number 6. What's going on? Why did you just have the 0 next to him? Shut up, 0. Don't do any talking, 0. I'm the 6. You're just a 0. But the 0 is everything. It's the androgynous number. And then you add 2 zeros, and now you got a choir going on. But the 6 still wants to be talking. All right? 6 is tied to the third eye, folks. The thalamus, the pineal gland, the brain, the inner eye. That's why over the cross of Christ, you have the I-N-I-R-I, the inner eye. The third eye is what Jesus said, let thy eye be single. Close your eyes. Close these devils off. These things will make you a fool. These will deceive you. More than this will. What do I think about 432? Interesting you mentioned that. I've been studying the frequencies quite a bit on my book. Right here, I got them all lined up. Been studying them like crazy lately. The frequencies. They're interesting. Shout out to my brother Flock. He kind of got me inspired to take a look at it. He turned me on to this channel, and I've been watching a few videos. Pretty interesting. This guy doesn't really have any subscribers, but he's got some good information. I'll have to share that eventually. But I love the frequencies. This guy is all about healing with frequencies. So I'm all for that. Charleston, South Carolina in the house. Thanks for joining. Can I alter my, Sylvana is asking, okay, basically the question is, can I change my frequency if you change your name? I don't think that your birth name will ever be changed frequency-wise. I think that the birth name will always have its cemented piece in your reality. And I have postulated this as a numerologist. All of you, when you're decoding yourself, please use your mother's maiden name along with your birth certificate name, the name that you were given by your parents. Your first, your middle, your last name. The last name typically is going to be your father's last name, but your mother had a last name. They came together, they humped, and they procreated and made you. So that energy together is going to be significant for you. You can do the you can do the what's the word I'm looking for? Can't remember the name of it. Okay, I'll come back to that one. But nonetheless, all this stuff I'm gonna have coming out in my course, right? Like these are things that you should do. And then what do you do with it? Well, find you looking for patterns. You're looking for patterns in your life. See, a lot of you are not living through your code. Maybe because you're too afraid, or something happened when you were a kid and you were told that you're not good enough, or you can't do this or that, and it's like you should be doing this but you're not because you're afraid because somebody told you couldn't do it or whatever. But if you start looking at your charts and be like, and I'd be like, when I do my readings, folks, I am passionate when I do them. I'm like, I blast. I give a lot of suggestions. I got many years of personal development that I intertwine with all these mystical art platforms to do these readings. But I mean, whether you get me or somebody else, it's like, you got to like own this space of who you are, man. What are you doing messing around, playing around? It's your time to open up and shine. Now, I believe that there's going to be superheroes on the world stage. They've gone from 2D comics to 3D movies, and the next stage is this reality right here that we're living out. We're going to see them. We can say it's the return of the gods, the return of the titans, whatever you want to say. I'm gonna tell you, I'm gonna say something to all of you right now. Something that popped into my head, and I want to share it with all of you, because maybe you will resonate with this. Okay? If you look at humanity and the timeline of humanity, let's just say for the past 100 years, and you look at the world leaders on the stage, the ones that have a high position, that they got that code. Someone birthed that person into this world. They were responsible of bringing that person into the world. And so if you're somebody who is in a relationship and you're thinking about having children, well, what do you and your partner make up as an energy? Because you could take your two cards and you can bring them together and you can take a look at the charts, and you can do what's called the composite reading, where you take the two cards, you add them up, and then you subtract by 52, and then you reduce down, and you're going to get a single card, and that's the energy from your parents and kind of the offspring, and you can branch off in so many different ways. But what I'm trying to say here, ladies and gentlemen, what if you and your partner are supposed to give birth to like a John Connor from like the movie Terminator, who's supposed to save the world from the future race in 50, 100 years from now? I mean, if you look at these, this is the lenses I look through. Like, well, what if I'm supposed to do that? What if my seed, based upon my lineage of where I came from, what if I'm supposed to create somebody that will go on to save the world, change the world, be the game changer, be that John Connor from the Terminator, that will rise up and fight the machines, if that's what we're going. I'm just using that as an example. But this is why all of these layers of decode your reality, realizing we're in a predestined script. It's a scripted reality. All of you here now, you should know, this should be like, at least maybe you're kind of like, okay, there's something to this. Maybe that's what your mind, maybe you're not 100% sold. That's totally fine. But then it's like I already know through my downloads, through my meditations, through the symbols, signs, and things that I'm being shown. This is my truth now. We are moving towards kind of like, and I've said this, like that movie Minority Report, starring Tom Cruise. We're moving towards that. What is Minority Report? It's like, it's pre-crime. How do you prevent a crime from happening? Because what we're doing here, folks, what all of us decoding out there are doing, we are taking all these components, astrology, the cards, the tarot, and we're putting them into this pan, and we're assembling them all, and we're uploading them onto AI. We're doing the work for it. We're feeding it, and we're concentrating all this information. Whoever owns all these astrology sites, and you plug in your parameters, man, it's collecting all that data. And us decoding, we're doing the same things. Making our videos, putting it out on social, whatever you're doing. That's why, like, you see me putting all the pieces of the puzzle together. I have a lot of crazy ideas, but I mean, when you start to get into the nakshatras and you get into the 13 zodiac signs and you connect the cards to that and the tarot and the alchemical elements, they all start to fit somehow. And then they start getting tighter and tighter and tighter. What is that creating on the world stage? It's going to create superhumans. Age of Aquarius ain't going to be like the Age of Pisces, folks. It's not even going to be close. It may take a while to get there. Like, there's some of these things that we may not see. I mean, I'm hitting 50 in a couple months, right? So like, you could say half my life is over. Still got a long way to go, but nonetheless, I mean, I may not see these technologies that we're talking about. May not be here to see that. But if you just look at the world stage right now and where it's going, why would you even think that we can continue on living through the Age of Pisces when it's not the ruler anymore? It's just not. That age is not, it's not going to be, I mean, think about it. Would you go back to taking a dump in an outhouse? Would you go back to having a flashlight to go to the bathroom? Would you go back to going and making wheels out of wood to put on a horse and buggy? Would you want to go back to that? I certainly hells wouldn't want to do it. I would bet 100% of you would never want to go back to that. But yet people are fighting and kicking and screaming about, like, I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to do this one. You can clearly see the handwriting on the wall. You can clearly see it. What's happening? What's going on? Now, if there's a fork in the road and you get to go and say, well, you know what, I want to still be a human being. Well, we don't even know what that looks like. We don't even know what that looks like, but it sure as hell seems. I'm seeing all this stuff going on social media. People putting their avatars, putting themselves in digital form. You know what they're doing? Like the girls getting the big boobs and the tight muscles and the guys getting bulky and chiseled faces and perfect hair. And you're going towards a digital perfection. That's what everybody's doing now. Not everybody, but a lot of people. I mean, what's next? What's the next thing in line? Well, the VR glasses. And it's very possible, folks. I mean, I had mentioned this earlier, 2023, 2024. I mean, through the charts. I mean, I had postulated this, talked about it in my Let's Talk About Astrological Cryptocurrency with Jordan. Jordan asked me, hey, what does people say when you say the sun's going to go out? What do you mean the sun's going to go out? Yeah, what if the sun goes out? The sun's not going to go out. What if it does? So you start studying the cyberpunk era, which was made really big and famous by the writer called Philip K. Dick, and he had movies called Total Recall, Minority Report. It was all like artificial light and it was dark, digital, electronic, fossil fuels in the age of Pisces, ladies and gentlemen. That's being phased out. That's why you're moving towards electrical energy. Anyway, let me get into some of these questions. Would I trade my freedom for it? What freedom? I don't even look at the words freedom, prison. I just look at life. There is no trading for anything. There's just the journey. That's all there is. And we just don't know right now. Like, we can postulate that there'll be a choice, a fork in the road where we would be able to make a decision. Like, do you want to remain a human being, or do you want to move into a machine? I don't think that that's anywhere close to being on the world stage just yet. I don't think I'll see it in my lifetime. And I think even if there is man moving into machine and that transcendence, I think that there will still people that will remain human if there is that choice. But that's just my opinion. Subject to change, right? Audio channel, why do you use objects to describe signs? Because they're embedded into the code. I mean, Libra, I call it Libra because that's exactly the correct pronunciation. Libra is the 7th sign. And if you take the 7 in the chakra systems, it would be in the heart center. And the heart is supposed to be where you balance everything. So the Libra, the scales, is a perfect symbol for the number 7. The pH of the blood, 7.3, 7.4, it's got to be balanced. So this is why I use these signs. I don't know what we don't know what some of these ancients used. We get ideas, we see ancient text, but it's purely based upon, well, I believe that book. Or I believe that ancient clay tablet. I mean, think about the technology and where we're at now compared to other cultures. I mean, if you just look at ancient Egypt, maybe I was there in a past life. If you believe in past lives, maybe you were there. But like, if you compare the technology to how it is now, there may have been some major differences, but why were they not using a freaking pen? A simple pen. Why were they not using that in supposedly a more advanced technology than ours? They're still pushing symbols into a clay tablet. That's bulky and you got to carry it around. I mean, you would think they'd have a pen back then. Nope. You would think they'd have paper. Nope. So how advanced was the technology? I don't know. But if they didn't have a simple pen and we have pens, and now we're moving into digital and we're just typing it into artificial intelligence, I mean, is there really any comparison with technology here? I'm not sure. That's right. Gino says China literally has their artificial sun project. That's exactly right. They already have those artificial suns ready to put up in the sky or whatever the hell that's going to look like. So, and then go study this stuff, folks. Go study China, artificial sun, go see how much money they've spent on it. An ungodly amount of money. Why would a government spend that kind of cash? I mean, look, I was in the military. And I know the military accounts for every dollar. They don't waste money. All right? So you got to start using some logic and discernment here. What are these things being built for? It's very possible the sun's going to go out. And if that happens, man, life will change big time. I'm looking over your comments. Thanks for everybody for being here tonight. I appreciate each and every one of you. If you're wondering, if you just showed up and you're wondering, like, why the hell is Logan black and white? Because this is What's Your Question 47. 47 is tied to my birth card. It's the 8 of spades. The 8. If any of you that are 8s anyway, you're going to be kind of the personification of spirit and matter and coming together. That's the number 8. When you take the number 8, it's the hourglass. In the very middle of the hourglass is the centerpiece where the sand drips down, and that's kind of the separating point between spirit and matter. Those are the 8s. So big shout out to water. How much water do you drink in a day? This right here is 33 ounces. I drink about 3 of these a day, sometimes more. That's 96 ounces. If it's hot, sometimes a gallon. I've been doing this as long as I can remember. Body's made up of primarily water. That's your oil, along with the blood. How much water do you drink? The majority of people living today, a majority of them are chronically dehydrated. And when you're dehydrated, you're a desert, shit starts to break down because the body needs to be lubricated. So a lot of astrology stuff, you know, I want you to take into consideration, all of you that are fans of astrology, maybe you just like, oh, that sounds pretty interesting. You got to realize that every single one of us are the makeup of all 12 signs. All of them will make up you as a human being. So when so kind of the funny thing is, like, people that start to get into astrology, like, oh yeah, I'm a Leo sun and I'm a Taurus moon, are like, yeah, okay, well, what about all the other 12 signs? What houses are they in? You know, you're all of them. Even if you don't have any planets in that house, you still have energy in the houses that are vacant, I say the cupboards are bare. What zodiac signs on the outside there? What's across the way from that house that's empty? We're all 12 signs, ladies and gentlemen, all of us. And as I have said and continue to say, astrology is your eyeball. It's the iris and the pupil. And you have two eyes. So one of the eyes is going to be your blueprint when you came out into this world. And the other eye is going to be tied to the forever moving chart of the now moment. That's astrology. We are living astrology charts. Pat's asking, what do I think about the 24 and the return of the Phoenix? Well, now you're getting into, Jason from Archaics, big shout out to his channel. I think we're going to do a part 4, by the way. I got to email him back, but I think we're going to do a part 4. So stick around for that. Part 3 was amazing. I'm going to try to make part 4 even better. Better questions, more in tune with everything. But that's his claim to fame, the 2040. I think that something major is going to happen, long before that. But again, this is just an opinion, theoretical opinion, very vanilla opinion. I'm not set into it. I'm not going to predict it. I'm just saying that it's a possibility. And that's not me being like playing it safe. Because I don't claim to be like a Nostradamus, or I'm not looking into a crystal ball. I'm not doing Ouija board stuff. I'm not, conjuring up spirits and talking to spirits. I'm not doing any of that kind of stuff. But, the whole Phoenix phenomenon is a wiping of the board. Like game over. And the board gets wiped. John Steele, if there are no planets in houses, does it have to do with formally learning what needed to be learned in that area? Maybe. We can't tell for sure. The only thing I'm sure about now, ladies and gentlemen, I think past lives are great. I think past life regressions are fun, but it's all it is. It's no different than going to the movie, watching your favorite show, getting educated by a YouTube video, talking to a neighbor about a certain topic. It's entertainment. Nothing supersedes your life right now, this journey you're on. Nothing supersedes it because you are the universe. So the now moment is the most important, and then your astrology chart to determine your now moment, and the future chart that continues to move. So I can't say for sure if you don't have any planets in a certain house, you were there last time. I mean, it's been said so many times in astrology that the south node of the moon is where you were in your past life. Right? I've read that many times. That doesn't make any sense though, because if you go, it's gonna get stuck somewhere. If you continue to look at the charts this way. So just the most important thing to do, ladies and gentlemen, to decode yourself is look at your freaking charts. Astrology, numerology, Enneagram, human design, gene keys, color types, personality types, cards of illumination, tarot, alchemology, alchemy. As many layers as you can add into your whole life, man, the better you will be able to see who the hell you are in this reality. Okay? That's how this whole reality is based upon. The name of the game is define yourself. Who are you? Why are you here? A lot of people on the world stage, you know why they're here? Just to take up space. They're never going to figure it out. Consider yourself fortunate. This is why I suggest to become a gratitude junkie. Be grateful for everything around you. Because if you were one of the ones that were given the code of realizing oh my God, there's something more to this reality than just what they're telling me, or there's something more to this reality than just because folks, 15 years ago, 10 years ago, I was in a way different state of mind. I had no freaking clue what was going on. But here I am right now, and that's all that matters is the now moment. So if you're in this now moment right now, and you figured out that like there's something esoteric about this reality, and I kind of got some things that I need to have answered, etc. Well, you should be grateful for that, because the majority of people on the world stage, no, not even a clue. They're too busy. Like just today, it was the World Cup in football, soccer. And I'm sitting here in my casita, and I had the window open, which I rarely ever do because it gets humid in here, but I had the window open. I was burning some sage, and I heard yelling. And it was the neighbor screaming at the TV, I would imagine. And so if I had to kind of postulate, do I think those people are awake? Do they know what's going on? And I'm not, obviously this is pure speculation and assumption on my part, but if I had to gamble on that, absolutely not. Not a clue. But I was once there. I used to be one of those people. I used to have a subscription to, so when back in, I was in California. I'm from, Connecticut, Boston area. Huge sports fan. Red Sox, Celtics, Bruins, Patriots. Great place to be a sports fan. I used to have a subscription to the Red Sox. I used to catch all the games. Even when I was working, I'd put it on the TV. I'd listen to them. I had no clue. I wasn't getting paid by the team. I wasn't getting any money from the team. I wasn't getting any nothing, no plaques, no memorabilia. I wasn't getting shit from that team. I was just stuck playing that game. So I'm very grateful that I'm here right now, and all of you right here, right now on this channel, watching this live or recorded, be grateful that you're here, because most people, you are a minority. And I'd much rather be the minority than the majority. Because some of those people, man, the majority, well, they didn't get your code. And if there is a way to level up, if there's a way to kind of win this game, if there even is such a thing. But even if there isn't, even if we just level up, man, a lot of people aren't going to level up. They're just going to repeat. So be grateful, folks. Don't judge. Don't call people sheeple. Why are you doing that? You were once one, too. And you probably didn't like being called that. And now the shoe's on the other foot. Now you're just, So just, be nice, man. Or don't say anything. Just be neutral about it. Because you were once one of those people too. But anyway, yeah, the World Cup, massive 3-3 score, 33, 4-2 with the I was just checking out I was looking at the astrological chart of it. Argentina, of course, is where the Pope is from. There's something about this. So there's something definitely in the script with this. France and Argentina. Argentina is where the Pope Francis is from. The first Pope from the Tropic of Capricorn. Argentina is in the Tropic of Capricorn. Argentina is the AR. And the AR is tied to argon, which is tied to the 18, which is tied to Jesus Christ. So yeah, sports are connected to religion for sure. So I see some people typing, I started to decode Lionel Messi. Lionel, the lion, it's the sun in human form. That guy right there, man, think of the code he got, man. He got a superstar code. His name's Lionel. Lionel's Leo. Leo's the sun. It's just so simple to see this if you start paying attention to the code around you. It's so easy. You just got to open your eyes and start to pay attention. Everything is going to give you some connections, symbols, signs, etc., etc. I've often said so many times, when you go to bed. When I go to bed, I put my phone on airplane mode. I put it on my charger. I look at the battery percentage of what my phone is when I put it on that charger. That's a sign. When I wake up in the morning and I grab my phone and I turn it on and I look at the time, that's a sign for me. If a song pops into my head, I go and decode it because that's a sign. It's the universe trying to communicate with you. I have had some stuff happen to me in the past month that it's like freaking mind-blowing stuff, like mind-blowing, mind-blowing, mind-altering, mind-bending, and it just won't stop. I'm not going to get into the specifics, but I go on to Netflix, I go on to Amazon Prime, put a show on, I put a movie on, and there's a message for me. How's that possible with billions of people on this planet? Yet there's my message. Because this is all patterns. We're all made up of these patterns. Yeah, and the Pope was born on the first day of Saturnalia. His birthday was just yesterday, the 17th. Pope Francis. I think he's did he turn 87? Let me see. See, when you go start to decode people, you start to look at their birthdays, like how old they are. So it says Pope Francis has already signed a resignation letter in case of bad health 15 hours ago. So they're already preparing. He's already signed a resignation letter in case of a medical incapacity. How about that? I just pulled that up. But he is, he's 86. 86 is tied to Radon. Radon's tied to the sun. Radon. Tied to Lucifer. It's tied to Jesus. Have I decoded autism? I have not. But I know people that have autistic kids and they're like geniuses. So obviously, I mean, if you just take that right there, if you have somebody who's autistic or, I mean, I feel for you because I can only imagine, like I'm not even a dad, but having a kid like that, it must be a challenge. And then you could postulate once again that maybe they did something in their past life and this is their punishment for this life. I don't know. I say that with a light heart because this is just theoretical, but it's possible. That's why, ladies and gentlemen, it's so important if we have free will, to make sure you start checking the things off the box. Be more service to others. Don't do it out of fear. Don't start running around tomorrow and be like, oh my God, Logan said I should start checking things off the box and I'm not a good person. And like, okay, maybe that inspires you to start making changes in your life, but it starts with you. Like if you eat like shit, if you don't take care of yourself, start there. That's your number one priority. Like I have said so many times to so many people, and I'm going to say it again. If you can work out, if you can go do exercise and you don't, I say you're selfish. You're selfish. You don't have to go work out or do exercise to get into extreme physical shape and be a professional athlete. But you work out for prevention, which is a service to the world. Participation. Why? Because, ladies and gentlemen, if you do not take care of your temple and you decay faster and you eat like shit and you decay faster, there's going to be a day and time where you may not be able to wipe your ass anymore. How embarrassing is that? And you have to have your friends and family come to your aid because you were too lazy to go work out. So they have to stop their day. They have to stop their activities because they love you and they have to take care of you. They have to spend money on you because you were too lazy to work out. So those of you that can work out and you don't, what the hell's holding you back? And there's no like, I can't afford, you don't need to go buy a gym membership. Go buy some bands for $10. Get your muscles and, get toned up. Get rid of the adipose fat that like some of you that are overweight. Like, I'm not being an ass here. I'm just telling you, like, what if you got to run a mile to escape danger and you can't? You're dead. Whoops. It's like you want to be in good shape or you want to be in shitty shape. Which one's going to be better? Everybody's going to raise their hand and say, I want to be in good shape. Okay, so what are you doing about it? Take care of your temple, folks. That's the number one priority. Especially if you want to have kids, there's a risk, there's a roll of the dice. If you want to procreate, nothing's guaranteed. And your child comes out and it's not, it's not healthy. Well, what if it's because you didn't take care of yourself? Whoops. So again, you want to make sure you check off all the things off the box. Eat better. Eat more alive foods, more plant-based. You don't have to be completely vegan. I'm not saying that, but you're going to be the lightest. So yeah, ladies and gentlemen, if you're lazy, if you don't work out, I say you're selfish. That's what I say. Yeah, if you want to call me an asshole, I don't care. But if you just be authentic and look at your life and be like, well, maybe Logan's got a point. Wait a minute, I'm not taking care of myself. And if I keep doing this for 5 years and then I get sick and then I got to go in the hospital, then my family has to take care of me and they have to take time off of work and that's money out of their pocket. You're selfish. Sabrina, that's bullshit. You can work out. You can do jumping jacks in your house. You can do push-ups in your house. You can do sit-ups in your house. That's a bunch of crap. I don't buy into that. Don't put that word can't anywhere near me. If you got physical disabilities, that's a different story. But man, when I went to prison, ladies and gentlemen, I had no weights. I had no access to weights. And what we did is we had I was a coach in there and I was coaching a whole bunch of people. And we did calisthenics, we did jumping jacks, sit-ups, push-ups, flags. We did a whole bunch of stuff. So there's no can't. That word doesn't even mean your vocabulary. I can't do that. Oh, that's a bunch of crap. That's just you making excuses. Just saying, ladies and gentlemen, like the time is now, man. And if you're not in the environment to if your environment sucks, then move. Put it on your vision board. Go to a vision board. Like you got to do these as like reverse engineer. So if some of you I don't want to live in my area anymore. Okay, fine, but I can't afford it. Okay, so you can afford to go out to Walmart or Michael's, whatever. Go get a big 42-inch poster board. Go buy a few magazines, a glue stick, and a pair of scissors. Make your vision board and make the vision board based upon where you want to move to. Then put that vision board on the wall and stare at that sucker every day. Say, I'm going there one day. And maybe, just maybe, one of those things are going to come true for you. The universe will be like, it's your future self projecting. Like, you know why I'm here in Mexico? Because I made the decision to come here. That's it. It just came down to a decision. Sabrina, workout is boring. That's fine. Well, death is certainly not entertaining. You're hilarious. So it wasn't about you can't. It's just the truth comes out and it's boring. Okay, I get it. So go find an activity that's not boring for you. I'm just very harsh on this stuff, ladies and gentlemen, because I feel like a lot of you are, if there is such a thing, you're running out of time. Tomorrow's not guaranteed. Think about this. Like, some of you are living your life like you have 200 years left on the table. I'll just do it tomorrow. It's fine. And then ladies and gentlemen, I'm here in Mexico, right? And I would say, this is no joke, I would probably say 80% of the people outside of my door are overweight. Look like shit, don't take care of themselves, probably have a ton of health issues. And it's crazy. I go to the beach and I'm like, you're going to wear that at the beach? I mean, I'm like, obviously I'm being judgmental sometimes. I'm human. But I'm just like, oh my God, I would never walk out of that. I'm like, what are these people doing? And then I'm grateful that I'm not there. It just turns right into gratitude. But I'm just telling you, ladies and gentlemen, I've been a strategist for a long time, life coach, strategist, nutritionist, and now moving into the mystical arts and being, a cosmic blueprint reader and a decoder. And I'm just telling all of you right now, man, tomorrow ain't freaking guaranteed for your ass. Time is now to do your shit. Stop making excuses. Stop being selfish. When you go fly in an airplane, they even say if the airplane goes down, put the oxygen mask will fall from the top, put them on you first, then assist your child. A lot of you are not doing that. You're not even putting the oxygen mask on you. You're like running from it. Yeah, see, Pamela Swan, I'm disabled and I do nunchucks and stair climbing. There you go. No excuses. Like, maybe this is just the message you needed to hear tonight, man. And you may have dismissed it tonight. Be like, that Logan's full of shit. Yeah, whatever. I'm just going to have my cookies tonight. And folks, we don't, I can't remember who, Sir Francis something, I think. We don't die, we kill ourselves. It's true. Think about it. We wake up, we consume. We go to the bathroom, we disperse. We do activities, we burn. We go back, we eat, we consume. We go to the bathroom, we disperse. We go back and create activity and we burn. That's the life of a human being. That's it. You eat, drink, poop, pee, and do activities. That's life in a nutshell. Life is hilarious, man. So you got to eat to live. The great book, by the way, Eat to Live, by Dr. Joel Fuhrman. Great book. Man, I'm not poking fun here, Mandy. I'm just using this as context. She says, I don't watch TV anymore. What do you think you're watching right now? You're watching YouTube. Same thing. I'm just Mandy, don't take any offense to that, because I just saw that I don't watch TV anymore. That's a lot of people say that, but they're watching Netflix and YouTube and Amazon Prime. But even if you don't watch any TV, folks, you're going outside, you go outside and you're out in life, and you're going out on the town, and that's a big TV screen. The two eyes that you have are two big TV screens. It's the environment. Your environment is going to be what's simple. What is your environment? What does your fishbowl look like? What kind of water are you swimming in? How dirty does your water get? Yeah, man. Mandy says I'm on my phone. Exactly, same thing. So a lot of people say that, like, I don't own a TV anymore. Yeah, but you spend 10 hours on this thing all day. Same thing. We're all being influenced. So it's going to come down to the environment that's influencing you. Justin, 25 push-ups every hour on the hour. That's a lot of push-ups. Ruby says, sugar is a drug. Sugar equals 15 in numerology. That's the devil card in the tarot. No kidding. Sugar is 15 in numerology. Devil card is 15. Someone's hard hitting says, I'm signing up for the gym tomorrow. Awesome. So here's another suggestion, right? Those of you that got motivated by what I said, if you're going to go sign up for the gym tomorrow, go get a personal trainer. Oh, I don't want to spend the money on that. Well, you spend $100 on your Amazon Prime and your Netflix. Why would you not want to spend $100 on a personal trainer? Why would you want to sign up for a personal trainer? Because they're going to motivate your ass. You're going to be obligated. You're going to have somebody looking over you. Spend the money on your health, ladies and gentlemen, not your entertainment. If you go compare Netflix versus gyms, I guarantee you, like, it's not even any comparison of how much money Netflix or Amazon Prime makes compared to the gyms across the world. Not even close. And that's why America is in shitty health, or I should say America, the world's overall is in complete shit health. Don't take care of themselves. Don't care, selfish. I'll do it tomorrow. I just got to watch this show. This is the last episode, so I got to watch this show. Go watch it at the gym. Go spend your money on the best gym you can that has the best amenities. When I was in Vegas, the gym I went to, they had a cardio room with a movie theater in it. How about that? I go there, go do your cardio for 30, 40 minutes and you're watching a movie. It's badass. No excuses, folks. Do whatever it takes. But trust me, man, like my health, I'm not 21 anymore. Like, I'm feeling it. I've taken care of myself almost my whole life. Started working out when I was 16. I've been working out 19, ever since the military, 19. 30 years I've been working out. Continuously. Little breaks here and there, but drinking water, a gallon of water, continuously for decades. How about you? I'll do it tomorrow. That's fine. Yeah, I just got this last episode I gotta watch tonight. And then after the episode, then I'll do it. Then I'll maybe do it. Yeah. It's funny. I'm just trying to have fun with this, folks, because this is how our reality is. It's a freaking joke, man. Yeah, right, Sabrina. I'll be your trainer. Doubt it. Hilarious. Patriot Eagle says, I'm waiting for a gym with an open air concept, windows open and such. So, if you can't get that, then you're just not going to go, right? Like, so the next best thing is a gym that's maybe a little stale in the air. And so maybe you don't go to the gym. Maybe you go buy a bike for $100 and you go biking 5 miles a day. Well, it's cold and like excuses. Go buy a treadmill. Go invest in a stationary bike at your house. Don't let it become furniture like most people do. Sally's asking, when you were married, yeah, okay, which time? That's been 3 times. Did you put on weight? No. So it's a good question, right? Because I know people that this is the comedy of life. So no, I have been in the single-digit body fat percentages my whole life. You could say I had a fast metabolism. And then people say, well, you got a fast metabolism. Don't compare, just work with what you got. But anyway, I always stayed in shape no matter what relationship I was in. Always. I'm committed, disciplined. That's why I made a good coach. I did personal training. I've been a manager of a gym, done all that stuff. I was good at it because I motivated people. I didn't take any shit. I was raw, visceral. That's what people need. Not like, okay, well, you can just do it tomorrow. No, you got to do it now. Tomorrow, you may not come back tomorrow. You know, it's insane because I used to be part owner of a gym, right? And over 30% of all the memberships, people never show up. They would pay their reoccurring dues. Maybe some of you right now, you pay a gym membership, you don't even go, but you're paying it because they do the EFT, electronic fund transfer. They draft it right out of your account, but it's only like 20, 30 bucks, so you don't care. What the hell are you doing, man? You should give it to somebody if you're not going to go. But anyway, we knew that in the gym industry. 30, 40% people, they don't even show up, but they pay anyway. But the funny part about the relationship thing, I see it a lot. People, they conform. So, you know, what do you do when you're single and you want to get a partner? You want to put off your pheromones. You want to look attractive. You want to look your best. You want to get that beach body because you're going to go back on the dating scene. You're going to go on Tinder or Bumble or whatever. You know, how many people are on these dating sites and they're putting up pictures that are 20 years old of themselves because they can't put up their current picture because they don't look anything like it. That's the comedy number one. But then you'll get in tip-top shape to find a partner. Then, once you get your partner and you fall in love and you get married, then you stop going to the gym, you stop taking care of yourself. And you get sick and disease and overweight and look like a slob and you've conformed. It's kind of like, you're like, oh, well, there's no more drive anymore. Like I got a partner. What does it matter? That's what if some of you were authentic and truthful with yourselves in your life, that's exactly what would be coming out of your mouth. Well, what does it matter? I'm married. It doesn't matter anymore what I look like. Well, is that fair to your partner? Your partner's going to stare at you all the time. See, it's like false advertising. Like back in the day before you met your partner and you met them out wherever and you're like, oh, you're all hot. And then you were attractive and then all of a sudden 20 years later, now you're not anymore. Because you're like, oh, I'm married. It doesn't matter anymore. It's like false advertising. Like what happened, man? Keep yourself up to date, man. Like a lot of marriages, I believe 1,000%, a lot of relationships would stay together if their partners would take care of themselves. There wouldn't be any eyes going other ways and them looking at other people because you're still staying hot. You're still staying the way you were when you first met them. That's the funny part. That's the comedy that I see in life. People do it all the time, man. We just got to be authentic with this, man. If you want to, don't get mad at me for saying it. Laugh if you're living it, but do something about it. I mean, what if you're the cause of your partner going and cheating on you because you don't take care of yourself anymore and you gain 20, 30 pounds because you've conformed to being married and you're like, oh, it doesn't matter. Like, do you realize the divorce rates and infidelity and all that? So you know how high it is these days because people are out looking elsewhere because they're not attracted to their partner anymore for whatever reason. So at least you can check that off the box. Like, man, I'm sexy. I got my shit together. I take care of myself. I look the same way. I look close to the same way as when we met. At least you know you can check that off the box and you know that they're not going to be looking elsewhere because you still look pretty damn good. This is how I laugh about reality and how I look at reality and how I stare at reality and how I contemplate reality and look at how I'm a people watcher. I love watching people because it's just a big comedy skit. It's just a big comedy skit. The whole thing. A person can look great but be a total asshole. Of course. And all of us can be assholes. All of us have been assholes. All of us, if we're authentic. The human being experience. That's the comedy. We all lie. We all fib. We all bullshit. We're all inauthentic human beings. That's the human being experience. That's the joke of it all. And please, nobody here say, I don't lie. I've never lied before. Please spare me that kind of BS. Look, ladies and gentlemen, I'm not saying that superficiality is the way to be here, okay? I'm just having fun with this, but I know it's a factor. So let's just be honest and authentic here. Do you think that do you think it's going to help your relationship if you gain tons of weight and don't look the same anymore and you become unattractive to your partner? Do you even know what your partner wants? Again, like when you met your partner, what did you look like? Maybe that's what they're attracted to. But and then obviously because you met them and now you're in a relationship with them, and then you fast forward 20 years down the line and all of a sudden now you look a certain way, you look different. Maybe they're not attracted to you anymore. Don't you think that that's something to take into consideration? I think so. That's not being superficial at all. I'm probably going to get some unsubscribers off of this content. That's funny. I go look at the analytics sometimes and then I get like minus some subscribers and I'm like, oh, there must have been something there people don't like. Whatever. I don't care. I'm very raw and visceral. Like some people just don't like me. That's totally fine. I don't care. I'm just being very open, raw, authentic here. Sally D says, I put on 70 pounds for my twin babies and lost it in less than 3 months. Good for you. I mean, I get it, ladies and gentlemen. Like, I'm not a female. I can only imagine, like, trying to get rid of the weight, having a child, childbirth. I mean, I can only imagine what that must be like. And, you know, then like you have to raise a child and it's a full-time job and you may have to work and like, but ladies and gentlemen, man, like we still have to look at your life and say, what are you eating every day? Like, you can't just say, well, I had to gain for the kids, but now is, you know, folks, it's very simple with reducing weight. It's very, very simple. How many calories do you consume versus how many calories you burn? It's that simple of a formula. So those of you that have to get rid of some weight, how many calories are you consuming? How many calories are you burning off? Have you ever measured that? One of the greatest tools you can use in reducing your weight is writing all your food down every day, all day. Keeping account of how much water you drink all day, every day. How many calories are you consuming? How many calories are you burning off? That's the simple formula of reducing weight. And there is the factor of being dehydrated. If you're dehydrated, you will continue to keep your weight on for the majority. So how much water do you drink? And then, you know, I mean, I'm just going to say this one last thing about this whole context here. If you're like maybe thinking like, oh my God, Logan may have a point here. Maybe you need to go ask your partner and you need to go take off and talk to your partner and say, are you okay by the way I look? Do you still find me attractive? Be honest. Don't bullshit me. Like, be that raw, because this is how we're going to get through these relationships. And then if they say no, like, you know, then at least you know. And you can go do something about it. But nonetheless, ladies and gentlemen, I still think that people need to take care of themselves. I think male and female, we need to take care of ourselves. And when you take care of yourselves and you eat really good and you drink clean water and you do the exercises and all stuff, you're going to maintain a healthy lifestyle. And then the sugar on top is you'll get back to a really healthy looking physical body. Anyways. Just checking out your comments here. Sorry for the vow of silence here. So a lot of great comments coming in. Some of you are funny. I know I was very raw tonight. I haven't decoded any animations from Japan. Nope. One of my thoughts on drinking distilled water. Well, you know, if you watch the podcast from my other channel, Cosmic Sugar YouTube channel, there was my friend Greg, who is all about the molecular hydrogen, which I believe in immensely. And he says that you should be distilling your water and then, of course, putting it through the molecular hydrogen machine, drinking hydrogen-based water, infused water. But, you know, water is not distilled in nature. So I go back to nature. And water, there's no distilled water that I don't think there's any distilled water in nature. Distilled meaning that it's stripped of everything. See, water, spring water, runs through the mountains, and when it comes down the mountains, it goes through the rock and the sediment, and it picks up all the natural minerals that your body needs for the circulatory system. So for me, I think that water from out there is better than distilled water. Distilled water, you got to make it. I think it's, but you know, Greg would say, he'll say, no, it's distilled is the way to go. But I just don't agree. I think it's great to drink it once in a while, but I think that nature is boss. So best water and fruits and vegetables, yes. Mandy's asking, how often should one fast? Well, I mean, you can do, speaking of that, I might as well talk about this right now. So on January 7th of 2023, I am officially going to launch the Green Box Detox. This will be group number 2. So for those of you that are interested in detoxing the body, The official start date will be January 7th. That is on a Saturday. The first Saturday of January 2023. That will be the official day all of us as a group will start detoxing. What's required is a disclaimer for you to send back to the email that I send the program to you from. If you're interested in doing the Green Box Detox, it's going to be 21 days, 22 days is the day of celebration. It's a 3-week long detox. It's not anything like drinking lemon water and cayenne. And no, this is drinking vegetables and juices and having a few soups mixed in there. This is going to be light and easy on the digestion system. It's going to clean out your colon, small and large. It's going to alkalize you. It's going to perhaps reduce some of you 10, 15, 20 pounds. We had a very successful group, Green Box Detox 1. We had about 40 people in that one. There is no cost. This is my gift to the world for all of you. So if you're interested, maybe I've purposely done it for around the New Year's because a lot of people like to do the New Year's resolutions. All you got to do is show up every day. And each week, for the 3 weeks of doing this, I will be doing probably 2 Zoom calls. And you can show up. You don't have to show your face on camera, and you can ask questions. This is a support group. It went really good last time. So if you're ready to reset your body, if you're like, you know what, this sounds like I need to do this. I want to do this. Just pay it forward. Just pay it forward. Help somebody else out in the world. So if you email the greenboxdetox at Gmail, greenboxdetox@gmail.com, if you're interested in doing this, send me an email and request it. Like, hey, I heard you on What's Your Question 47, greenboxdetox@gmail.com. Pretty easy, right? greenboxdetox@gmail.com. Thank you, Gmail. And say, hey, I'm interested. And then I send over a long email with the PDF. Has the entire program in there. But you must send back the disclaimer because there are people in there that, will have some side effects. What side effects? I mean, when you detox, some of you have a lot of toxins coming out. You can feel ill. There's a lot, and I'm not responsible for any of the ill feelings that's going to come, you may encounter. So I'm just being very transparent with this. Because I can't give out any advice because I'm not a doctor. I don't have a PhD. I'm a nutritionist, but I'm not a doctor or a PhD. So I have to put these disclaimers out there to protect myself. This is being transparent, raw, and honest with all of you. So you know exactly what you're going to get. So we have support groups for the Green Box Detox throughout the 3-week period that we're going to be doing this. Inside the PDF that you will get via email has the complete outline of the Green Box Detox. There's videos to click in there, videos on how to juice. Like some of these videos are a little bit older. There's like some of the older stuff I used to put out there, but they're still valid today. Shows you how to juice, how to make juices. Easy peasy. And you'll probably save some money. If those of you that are on budgets, you'll probably save money on your food. So if you're interested in doing that, we would love to have you. So we have there are 2 dates for the Green Box Detox that I'm going to have prior to the start date of January 7th, December 29th, which is, let me give you the dates. December 29th, which is a Thursday. We're going to be doing a Zoom call at 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Because I'm trying to get some people over there's some people over in the European countries, and it puts them at real late at night. But anyway, and then I have New Year's Day, January 1st. Wait a minute, you're going to have it on New Year's Day? I have a party to go to. But anyway, January 1st. Everybody that wants to have their questions answered, they should be making it on this day, January 1st. Man, this is the reboot day. So January 1st, and you'll be able to join the Zoom call. And then we start on the 7th. So from the 7th to the 21st. I'm sorry. Yeah. Through the 21st. I'm sorry, through the 28th, excuse me. What am I saying? Yeah, 1, 2, 3. Yeah, through the 28th. Okay, so that's an announcement for the Green Box Detox. So if you're interested in that, send over an email. Please don't send it to my Cosmic Sugar or my Decoded Reality. greenboxdetox@gmail.com. Okay, send me a request there. Some of you, Maya, she did it. Miriam did. Some of the people are already in here, man. Put your comments in there, guys and gals. Put your feedback in there, because, these people went through it already. Maybe you can attest to it. Tell people how it went. Then I have a Telegram group as well. Thanks for Justin for mentioning that. We have a Telegram group that is provided in the email. Once you request a Green Box Detox, there's a Telegram group. If you want to find it, it is public. It's called Green Box Detox 2, TWO. It's a public Telegram group. And we had a very successful Telegram group for the first one. We had about, 35, 40 people in there. Everybody was commenting. It was great. Everybody was feeding off one another. All the wins, it was wonderful. So Pat Reed is saying, I don't know if I can fully detox and stop taking a certain product, certain pharmaceutical. That's totally fine. Listen, ladies and gentlemen, if you have a habit, and thanks for being authentic, Pat Reed. Way to go. If you have something pharmaceutical that you're addicted to, or you have to take it, you rely on it, then just take it and do the detox. At least you'll go through, and at least you'll be able to pat yourself on the back and say, you know what, I did it. And maybe you'll just end up stopping halfway through of the product that you don't think you can get rid of. When I go through this detox stuff, I tell people some of the questions can I stop? Can I keep drinking coffee? Well, it's not part of the program, but I'm not going to be at your house, being the coffee police. I'm not going to be in your kitchen in the morning. I'm not going to know. I mean, do you think everybody's honest and authentic when they go through the detox? No, they're not. But at least you had the courage to do it. At least you had the wherewithal to finish it, So if you can't stop drinking your coffee, and that's one of the requirements for the detox, I'm not going to get mad at you for it. Doesn't mean you can't do it. Doesn't mean you should just scratch yourself off the list. It's better to go through the detox and drink the coffee than not do the detox at all. Because you're still going to get some benefits from it. So Bobby, what's up, Bobby? Yeah, and those of you that have gone through it and you reduce some weight down, man, you can adjust it this time around, right? You can add in some carbs in there if you feel like you need to get a little more calories. Those of you that went through the first one don't want to really reduce the weight down, because in this detox, yeah, you get a little flat because the glucose goes down a little bit because you're really reducing your calories. So when you're getting into the second round, you can start to experiment on different things. What about the toxins in those plastic water bottles? Yep, there is. Fluoride is not good for the teeth. I don't think so. What is on the Zoom call? The Zoom call is just simply there for support. So if you come to the Zoom call on the 29th of December or January 1st, these are the introductory Zoom calls, okay? These are kind of the precursor to the actual start date on January 7th. If you show up to the December 29th or January 1st Zoom call, you're going to come on. There are going to be a whole bunch of other people there, and then I will be the host. I start usually right on time, okay? And we start to answer any questions. I start to pretty much the introduction ones on the 29th and the 1st are really they're designed to tell you all about the program and then do some questions and answers. Okay. And then the actual start date on the 7th, we're not going to be doing a kickoff for that. We all start on the 7th. Will that all be explained to you? January 7th, if you decide to do this green box detox, when you wake up that day, that program starts for you. And then we're going to have some support Zoom calls throughout the weeks that we do this to make sure that we, some people need a little bit of reassurance. Some people need their questions answered. Some people have whatever they need. So these are support groups. Okay. Sabrina's asking, I've already been on the keto since November. Can I go on detox? Yeah, you just switch over. You just switch over. That's all. Pretty easy. Okay. Buy anything ahead of the detox? No, you don't have to. You're going to be going to the grocery store. You're going to want to get your, it's mainly fruits and vegetables. So you're going to want to get these at your grocery store. I mean, I like to go every day, but I know that may not be convenient for some of you. So you can buy your week full of stuff if you want to, buy ahead of time. But this is what the December 29th and the January 1st Zoom calls are for, to answer all these questions, et cetera, et cetera. Yeah, man, juicing for me is a game changer. In the green box detox, we have what's called double greens. Okay. It's something that I created, and it might be out there on the world stage as well, but it's something that I created. And you basically are you have your extracted juices, your liquid juices, right? You can buy them at the store now, pretty much in any supermarket. If you have a juicer, which I hope the majority of you have one, it should be a standard kitchen appliance. You juice your cucumbers and apples and celery, et cetera, and you get your liquid juice, right? Well, then what you do is you get your blender or NutriBullet or whatever it is to use to blend up, and you throw in that container your vegetables. Like my go-to pretty much every day. I usually have one of these. I have a full blender, I have a big ass blender, almost all the way to the top, 48 ounces, something like that. Almost every day I have this. I take celery, cucumber, ginger, and if I'm not going out in public, raw garlic. And I'm not talking about 1 or 2 cloves. I go like maybe 6 or 10 cloves of garlic. Like, I would hate to probably stand next to me. But yeah, if I'm not going out in public, a lot of garlic. I do either mint or cilantro and parsley, a head of each. Usually I've been doing a lot of mint. And then I also put in a very big, thick slice of pineapple. And sometimes I'll do a half a grapefruit, ruby red. I put all that in the blender. Then I take my extracted juice, not water. I take my extracted juice and I fill up the blender and I blend it up. And I drink that. And that's usually my first meal of the day. And it's like you're getting a flood of micronutrients, like a ton of vitamins and minerals in there. And it's already pre-digested basically because it's blended up. So it goes through you quickly. It gets you regular in your bowel movements. It's awesome. And that's just my go-to. And I mean, when I use my ginger, I use a big ass piece of ginger. I like my shit strong. That's me though. But that's one of the recipes that we incorporate into the Green Box Detox. A double green or a double red. And you'll get the context of those if you decide you want to do it. Okay? Jane, what do you use for bad breath for garlic breath? I don't know. Gum? I don't know. I just usually don't, like, if I'm going to have garlic, I have it at night. I'll have a double green at night. I don't know. No one's ever said anything to me, but I mean, actually Santos said something to me one time, but he didn't care, but he was laughing. Yeah, I do. And coconut oil pulling is great. I only do it. I think any more than 5 minutes is over the top. I don't think you need to do any more, because if you put your oil in your mouth and you swish it around for 10, I used to do it for 10 minutes. I think that's too long. Then the oil and everything that the oil's supposedly in there to take all the germs out, you start to absorb it through the glands. And it's just kind of counterproductive. So I think 5 minutes of taking I take a little swig of coconut oil in the morning and I swish it around in between my teeth, and then I spit it out and take a swig of water. And then, the very first thing I do, my very first habit in the beginning of my day, I drink one of these before I do anything else. 1 full liter of water before I eat any food, before I drink anything. It's water time. Majority of people out there are dehydrated. So if you drink 1 liter of water, man, you only need to drink 2 more. And you got a whole day ahead of you. So it's awesome. Yeah, Jane, I don't know what to tell you on the garlic. I would just say stop eating it. Stop eating it. Maybe your body just... Anyways. What's up, Jeremiah? Yeah, no vampires around here. Trust me. No vampires around here. Yep. There's beet juice in there. Yep. I know some of you are funny with the garlic. Yeah, but I'm not with anybody. It's just me, myself, and I. I don't care. I don't care, man. I'm on my journey by myself. If I was in a relationship, I probably wouldn't be having the garlic, but I don't care. Don't care if people look at me when I go in the grocery store and I reek like garlic. I probably do. I don't care. I don't do the garlic every day like that. Yeah, apple cider vinegar. There's another one, Clockwork 113. I just got my brand new bottle, thanks Amazon Prime. I got my mother's, Bragg's apple cider vinegar. I do a shot of that at night before I go to bed. That's really good for the body as well. Yeah. A lot of you are on this garlic thing. I think it's funny. I'm a huge garlic fan. But I mean, raw garlic is pretty heavy. Like, it's different when you cook it and then you eat it. But when you just drink it raw, yeah, it's really powerful, for sure. Sabrina, you're asking about you have low blood pressure problems because I'm born with a blood deficiency. So some of you have genetic deficiencies. Some of you have genetic deficiencies, some genetic problems. And my suggestion would be, I can tell you right now, I want to tell all of you this here. Right now, currently, there's another great decoder out there. Her name is Natalie. She's from France. She lives here. She's been to Mexico. Well, she is a practitioner in this program called NAET. And it's basically a form of kinesiology. And so she came here and she did a diagnostic on me, and they have all these tubes that have all these programmed, they're the programmed tubes basically with names on them, like, are you allergic? It has everything under the sun. What are you allergic to? What are you not allergic to? And she goes through everything using kinesiology. And I'm going through that program right now. And the reason why I'm telling you that, Sabrina, is because personally, from my own experience, all right, back in 2017, I was on testosterone, okay? Not a lot, but I was on testosterone. And I thought, and one night I had this, I felt like I was having like chest pain. And I thought it was that. So I stopped taking the testosterone and it didn't go away. So come to find out, I had anemia. And the reason why I got the anemia is because I went plant-based. And, before I was plant-based, I was, a pound of meat a day. I was much bigger, bodybuilder, competing. It was a much different lifestyle for myself. And I don't really know all the contributing factors, but I have been dealing with and battling anemia for 6 years, off and on. And it sucks. You would never think like how would you even get that, right? Well, I can tell you now from experience, it's because the body doesn't absorb certain vitamins and nutrients. And, I have I have a rare condition of anemia called macrocyte anemia. And macrocyte anemia is where the red blood cells, they get bigger than average and you have less of them. So my heart, the pain, I did the EKG, I ran on the treadmill, everything came back squeaky clean. So come to find out, my challenge was, you see, with macrocyte anemia, your red blood cells are enlarged and you don't produce enough of them. So that means you have a lack of oxygen going to the heart, which can cause angina. So when you have this condition, it's, it can get serious, right? Like if you're not on it, because your body needs to be balanced. So I'm telling you all this story. I'm just being very raw and authentic, being kind of vulnerable, kind of sharing my life with all of you, but as something that you'll resonate with. Like if you have some kind of condition genetically that was maybe passed down, that does not mean you can't fix it. Don't listen to any doctor that says it's genetic and you can't fix it. That guy's full of shit, or she's full of it. That's an opinion. So anyway, fast forwarding on to this treatment now, I'm getting these treatments done. I'm being tested for things that I was allergic to, things that my body wouldn't absorb. And I think now, for the first time in almost 6 years, I'm fixing this anemia issue. So I'm pretty happy about it. You know, one less thing I have to worry about. I mean, you can eat all the foods in the world that are going to have, like, you know, like obviously when you go plant-based, when I went plant-based, I went full board. I went cold turkey. No pun intended on the words there, vegan cold turkey, you know. But, you know, when you go vegan, not everybody that goes vegan can handle it. The body just, I mean, if you have any discrepancies in the body, if your body is allergic to anything, if it's not absorbing anything, you could be screwed. And this is how your body breaks down quicker, faster, you decay quicker. So anyway, I'm doing this treatment right now. If you're here in Mexico, it's pretty inexpensive. You can get testing by Natalie, and she's really good. You know, it's just really simple. But then you do this certain program, and you're now absorbing, and you want to absorb everything, right? Your body needs about 90 nutrients every day, 60 minerals, 16 vitamins, your omegas, your amino acids, essentials. This is what your body needs every day. Your body needs, this is not even my opinion, okay? 16 vitamins, 60 minerals, 9 to 11 amino acids, your omega 3, 6, and 9s. This is what your body needs this every day to operate correctly. And if you don't give the body essentially what it needs, it starts to rob Peter to pay Paul, so to speak. If you're too acidic in your body, immediately your body will go to your bones to compensate for the acidic environment. It will compensate, it will pull calcium from your bones to buffer the acid in your body. And this is where osteoporosis comes into play. This is why you want to be balanced. It's really simple. Balance is where it's at. If you're not balanced, you're going to decay quicker. So anyway, I hope that helps some of you. So I'm doing this treatment right now. I'm like halfway through it right now. I mean, one of the other things that I've had, maybe you can resonate with this one as well, is I've had stomach acid problems. Like I remember back in 2000, and I was like, you know, competing, and I was much bigger, eating a ton of meat, you know, eating everything under the sun, you know, and I could burn it off because I had fast metabolism. But the food I was eating, my stomach was starting to get distension. I would get bloating, and it started to get uncomfortable. And I found out I had candida. And then I started to do the studies on candida. I realized, wow, there's a lot of people that have candida. They don't even know it. And I can just look at somebody and tell if you pretty much have candida. What is candida? It's just an overgrowth of yeast in your gut digestion, in your gut. That's it. So you want to get a good probiotic. It's like, oh my God, I got to get this now. Yeah, it's freaking, it's expensive to be healthy sometimes. But candida is a pain in the ass. So you want to make sure that you're, you know, my stomach acid, and I'm going to be treating that as well. You know, the body needs sodium chloride to produce stomach acid. If you're not taking in enough salt, over the years, your body may stop producing stomach acid, and now you're going to get GERD, which is called, you know, heartburn. If you get heartburn after you eat like foods that are heavy, you're probably not producing enough stomach acid, and it probably could be you have low stomach acid. And then your body can't absorb the foods that you're eating because it can't break them down correctly. Then you can lead to leaky gut, have autoimmune diseases, It's just a matter of time. You're like a ticking time bomb. So the stomach is a very important, and again, we were talking esoterically about the stomach and Christmas, the story of Jesus Christ being born from the third eye, going down Santa's chimney, which is the spinal cord, which is even the esophagus, and going down into the stomach area, which is the solar plexus. And the stomach is called the second brain for a reason. First one's here. Second one's in your solar plexus. Now you're dancing with the devil in the belly of the beast. That's the whole story of the Christ. That's what Christmas is all about. It's the light game. So if you have any stomach areas, if your stomach is compromised in health, well, you're going to pay the price. So you got to make sure your stomach acid is working properly. Those of you that have heartburn, you got to fix it. Don't just shrug it off. Don't just take antacids and chew on Tums all day. You got to fix the stomach acid. You have to address the root problem. And it's always going to be linking to your diet, what you're eating, your food regimen. You're not getting the essential vitamins. And again, are you absorbing them? Are you absorbing the food you're eating? That's the big key. Because if you're not absorbing it, you're going to have malnutrition. Doesn't matter how broad a spectrum you have. Even vitamins. Some of you are taking vitamins, your body can't absorb them. So you're wasting your money. That's why testing, doing this, like I'm doing this kinesiology, I really feel like it's helping. And, it's kind of maybe a little premature to report, but I really feel like this is, like for my going back to my anemia, I have macrocytonemia. The protocol for macrocytonemia is vitamin B12, obviously, and folic acid. I was allergic to the folic acid I was taking. How about that? Imagine that. I'm taking a product to try to compensate for the lack of folic acid, which is necessary for the protocol to treat this form of anemia, but the folic acid I'm allergic to. That's why it's important to test all this stuff. This is how intricate it is, folks. This is how challenging life can be. That's why life is a joke, man. It's a comedy show. As soon as you come out into life, you're born to die. And you will face suffering at some point. So enjoy the ride. Green Vibrant, Christine, yes. Thank you, Christine. Green Vibrance, amazing energy green powders. I love those. That powder. Green Vibrance is great. Paradise makes another good one. There's blue-green algae that you can get. That's amazing product. Spirulina, chlorella. These are all, like anything dense green, I'm all for it. Can't get enough. But are you absorbing it? That's the question. Are you absorbing the nutrients you're taking in? Because if you're not, you're wasting some of it. Ice baths and cryptotherapy chambers, amazing. All this stuff works. But again, I think that the basic fundamentals people skip over. They run to, how do you diagnose the body if you're not taking all the necessary 90 essential nutrients every day and absorbing them? How do you treat a condition if you're not absorbing all the 90 nutrients the body needs every day? You can't do it. A lot of people go to the doctors and the doctors are going to read from a textbook. They're not going to be, most doctors are not nutritionists. You need both because you got to treat the nutrition first before you go to the doctor, before you get diagnosed. A lot of health conditions are nutritional deficiencies. You look at your fingernails, you look at is the skin peeling up? What is the other ridges on your fingernails, your toenails? How are your toenail conditions? How are your fingernail conditions? How's your skin? How's your hair? These are all going to tell you how your body is internally, what you're absorbing, what you're not absorbing. Just got to look and listen to your body. But getting into, oregano oil and teas, these are all great. But you need to make sure the priority is with the 90 essential nutrients every day. That should be checked off the box first. Then, once you go through that for about 2 or 3 months, and you're now absorbing the nutrients your body needs every day to run the most economical that it can, then you can start to diagnose the things that you feel are wrong with you. You don't get a diagnosis on your body without like, oh, I don't take omegas. If you're not taking an omega-3, like, what are you doing? It's required by the brain. If you're not absorbing a vitamin B6 or a B12 or a B1 vitamin, what are you doing? Trying to diagnose it at the doctor's. A simple deficiency in some kind of vitamin can fix a lot of problems. For sure. Do I do shots or pills of B12? I have both. I have the shots. I have them in my bathroom just in case. That's like once a week. You do like 1,000 micrograms, but that's extreme cases. The pills are fine, you know, but I'm not a vegan. I'm not 100. Like I'm not just like I'm more. If I had to label myself, I'm vegetarian. All right, if I had to label myself, but I don't, my outlook on the way this world works is much different than it was a couple years ago. But yeah, the shots of B12 are going to be the best way to get your B12 for sure. But once you get it in the system, you got to take it on a regular basis, and then it should be sustainable for you, and you should be good to go. Books to recommend for shadow work to heal past childhood trauma. I would do, this is the book that I used. You Can Heal Your Life by, what's her name? Oh man, I can't remember. I don't remember. Some of you are like, yeah, you already said it out loud. Louise Hay. You Can Heal Your Life by Louise Hay. That's the book I would recommend you get. I just put it in the comment section. And then there's also, what is it? Waking the dragon? No, the tiger. Waking the Tiger. Waking the Tiger by Peter Levine. That's another good book. Healing Trauma. Let me just get the link for you guys. Here, put it in there for you. And this is like, folks, we all have trauma, right? I mean, you still live through it to this day, unless you're doing the work. And then you're showing up as a human being through this trauma, and then the people around you are going to feel this trauma because you're living through it. So it's important to do the work. I mean, when I went to prison, it was the greatest experience of my life. I don't hide from it. It was very transformative for me. And one of the things that I took advantage of and made lemonade out of is I taught myself how to meditate for 30 minutes straight in silence. And then I had a mirror, and I did mirror work according to Louise Hay and You Can Heal Your Life. And that's where you stare into a mirror and you talk to yourself and you tell, like, I love you, Logan. And you start telling yourself this stuff. Like, I love you. You're amazing. Whatever it is. And it's really weird to start doing that. Like when you look in the mirror, like tonight, some of you go in the mirror and start to, like, look at yourself and say, you're amazing. You're beautiful. I love you, and say your name. It can get really kind of weird. It did for me. But this is how you start to heal this trauma. And then you got to tell yourself it's all right. I mean, a lot of trauma can be tied to the Chiron and the astrology charts. And that's going to be tied to perhaps some childhood memories. Like some of you may have gotten bullied at school. Well, you gotta go back to your childhood, that when that incident happened, and you gotta literally, it's like you from the future, and you gotta go have a conversation with your younger self in your visualization, in your meditation, and you have to be both people. And you gotta tell your little kid, you gotta be like, hey, it's me from the future, man, and you gotta be the little kid, and you're like, hey, well, who are you? Be really kind of fun about it, and like, I'm from your future. And I'm here to tell you that that incident that happened, like that doesn't work here in the future. Like we don't need it anymore. So you can just forget about it. It's okay. And then you got to be the kid again. Like, oh, really? Yeah. So you didn't know any better. It's okay. Don't worry about it. Oh, okay. And then you got to do this conversation between your younger self. That's the best way I feel you can do it. And then you may have to do it a few times. And eventually it's like fixing the ripple in time. And then you can get rid of the bullying, any kind of trauma. Then you got to do forgiving and get rid of resentment and anger. You got to do all these things. These are all essential to getting rid of past life trauma or trauma. Everybody got bullied at school. Yeah, you folks, you want to talk about a tough, like for me, my life, like, I grew up a Jehovah's Witness. I was in one of the toughest religions anybody could be in. I was born into that. So I went into school through my first grade, second grade, third grade, all the way through high school as a JW until the end, until I turned 16. And then I said, I'm not doing this anymore. But I was so programmed for doing it as a child that throughout my adulthood, I didn't celebrate. It's just like, what's the point? I just felt felt odd doing it. But growing up as a JW in school, I couldn't pledge allegiance to the flag. I had to sit down. People would make fun of me. I got made fun of all the time. Couldn't go to the birthday parties, couldn't go to the Christmas parties, felt like an outcast. You realize what that does to a kid's mind? So that's trauma, but it's like, what the hell? Why did I get that code? So. It's just so funny, man, because, I was so strict growing up, and then I made up for lost time when I got out of it. Let me tell you. Woo, did I make up for it? Oh, yeah. It was party time, man. 16, 17, started smoking cigarettes, started drinking, smoking pot. I made up for lost time. I had a lot of fun, though, so I don't regret any of it. It was all part of my journey. Oh, Sabrina, you crack me up. Sabrina says, I'm vegan, but I take eggs and nuts. Well, then you're not vegan. Vegans don't have any animal products. So you would not be vegan. You can't say you're vegan, but you have eggs. No, you wouldn't be a vegan at all. It doesn't matter anyway. The titles are ridiculous if you ask me. I say I'm plant-based because the majority of my food is plants, if somebody asks me, but you're funny. I'm vegan, but that's pretty interesting. Yeah, but eggs to me, eggs is a byproduct of an animal. They're going to lay them no matter what, but there's no embryo inside of an egg. There's no animal inside of an egg until the chicken sits on it and incubates it. So it's kind of like cheese or milk. No, Sabrina's not a bot, Bruce. Oh, that's funny. Sabrina's got the avatar. No offense, Bruce. It's kind of funny. Bruce just has the B. He's got a B for an avatar. I think that's kind of, what a paradox. That's kind of funny. No offense to you, Bruce. I just think it's kind of funny if you look at that. Sabrina's got the picture. We know who she is because she's been here. Bruce like, Sabrina's a bot. And he's got the B for his avatar. That's hilarious. See, that's the comedy of life, man. Jordan, what's up, brother? Jordan from Waters Above Crypto in the house officially. Sending you lots of love, brother. Oh, so I can say, I'm not gonna say, but I can tell you right now, ladies and gentlemen, because Jordan's already said it, and I'll tell you, Jordan and I have a very big project that we're working on, including my buddy Flock. So a big shout out to Flock as well. But we're really juiced and jazzed about going to be able to release this project to all of you at some point. It's going to be a game changer. Totally stoked for it, man. So Jordan and I and Flock have officially joined up, and we're going to be do some more in service to the world. So we're pretty stoked. Pretty stoked about it. So yeah, get over to Jordan's channel, Waters Above. Go subscribe. He does his lives. He's got a great voice. Jordan, he's a 7 of diamonds. He's got the 9 of hearts for his spirit card. He's got the cards of gold. He's got a voice of gold. He's a good human being, man. Go show him some love. He's got courses. Great person to learn from. Yeah, Jordan says, create things that make people feel things. That's right. Great point. Rough week for crypto. Well, I don't think you've seen anything yet, but just be in it for the long haul, folks. That's it. Like money in the bank, right? Without having any attachments to it. All right, ladies and gentlemen. So let's see, what time is it? Yeah, it's about that time. I think let's do I know I haven't done card pulls in a while, and I'm just not feeling the energy tonight to go through and ramble off a whole bunch of cards. So I know a lot of you are here that would love to get a card pull, but then if I pull it for you, I'm going to have to pull it for a lot of other people, and it's a task. I may just do a podcast just on pulling cards one time. I think that might be what I'll do. But yeah, I'm going to do a collective card pull, of course. So Sabrina says, I'm taking biotin for my hair and nails. Okay, so my question to you would be, is it a synthetic biotin? Is it a synthetic biotin? So what is card? Okay, so those of you that are new here, welcome out. Thanks for your support. Those of you that know what the card pull is, well, you know what's going to happen. But those of you that don't know, sometimes I do a collective card pull for everybody. We all think of an idea. It's going to be an individual journey in your mind, but we all come together collectively with this idea, and we're going to let the tarot cards kind of do their narration as to what the outcome would be, will be, might be, et cetera, et cetera. Typically, the question will be, what's coming down the pike for all of us, because most of us are interested in, what will be. Last time we did this, we had the Seven of Swords, I believe, at the bottom, which can represent deception, but it also represents mental strategy. It does represent the 7 chakras of the human body, so it is the full embodiment of the human being experience. I think in the middle of the deck was the Hermit card, which is all about wisdom, and the card representing the future days was, I can't remember that one, so I have to stop there. Damn, I forgot anybody remember what the last card was from last time I did this 2 weeks ago? Okay. All right, ladies and gentlemen, so we're going to, let me see. Oh, you know what? Hold on, let me see if I can show you this. Hold on a second. Do I have this ready to go for you? Let me show all of you really quickly. So as you know, I'm going to be decoding war, which will feature World War II and Adolf Hitler. Because World War II set, 75 million deaths? I mean, the worst, right? 1939. But let me just quickly show you. Is anybody interested in seeing this? Let me get some feedback of Adolf. I'm just going to show you one slide. It's got 2 astrological charts, the actual start date of World War II and the astrological chart of Adolf Hitler. And I'll show you that this guy and his life was scripted. He didn't have a choice of what he was doing, what he was going to do, what he had to do. He played that villain on the world stage. And, some people think he's a hero. If you read the context of the story of this guy. Okay. All right. So we got enough of you in here. All right. So let's jump into this. Here we go. Okay. All right, so this will be kind of the main graphic that I'll be narrating for this sneak peek of war decoded and Adolf Hitler. The dictator from Germany, from Nazi Germany. And what you're looking at here to the left is Adolf Hitler's astrological chart, born on April 20th. I don't remember the birth time. I don't remember that by heart, but this is what his birth chart looks like. And this is his birth card right here on April 20th. The very mighty and powerful 27th card in the deck, the Ace of Diamonds. This is the card of the Great Dragon, got hurled down through that context. This is the card of the Great Pyramid of Khufu. It's tied to that as well. 27 is tied to the word Jupiter. 27 is tied to the word heaven. 27 is tied to the word thalamus, because that's exactly where heaven is located. It's located in the thalamus, okay? 27 is tied to the word currency. This is the card of currency. Those of you that have this as your birth card, well, you got a lot of currency following you, okay? And it's the seed of currency because it's the aces, and all aces are the first card in every of the lineages of the cards. And then the invasion of Poland, the starting date of World War II, September 1st, 1939, when they invaded Danzig, and Poland was on the 9/1 date, which is the 10 of diamonds. So think about this right here. If we started to say, well, okay, maybe Adolf Hitler was a fan of the cards of illumination, and maybe he was a fan of astrology, and maybe he was a fan of numerology, and he used all these to do his bidding before he actually made any attempts. And he convinced all the nations of the world that were with him, on his allies, to go into battle on this day, because it was based on all of this. And he had to basically conspire with all these other people. I think that right there is some pretty lame-ass, ludicrous thinking. Okay? Too many people involved, and it's just too definitive here. Okay? But I mean, what are the odds that these two dates that make up Adolf Hitler's birthday and the invasion of Poland, the start of World War II, are both diamonds? Lucy in the sky with diamonds. And, what's really fascinating is that if you take Hitler's birthday, he was born on the 20th, and the invasion of Poland is the 1, and you bring those two numbers together, you get 201. And 201 is tied to the alchemical element called mercury. It's called mercury. And what you'll notice is, here is the position of Mercury for Adolf Hitler. It's in the 7th house through the first nakshatra, which is the starting point of things, and the sun is right there, okay? The sun and Mercury are best buddies, like two peas in a pod, and it's in the sign of Aries. He's an Aryan, okay? And then if you look at the invasion of Poland, the start of World War II on September 1st, you're going to notice that the sun is right there in the first house. Okay, the sun's in the first house in the invasion of Poland, the sun's in the first nakshatra, the sun's in the first sign, and then he's got Mercury, the planet of communication there, and the 201. So these are very big takeaways to take into consideration here as we start to look at these charts. All right. And the position of Mercury for the invasion of Poland was in the 9th nakshatra. And then we look at, well, what has Adolf Hitler got in his 9th nakshatra? Frickin' Saturn. Satan. So we have Father Time, Kronos, in the birth chart of Adolf Hitler, and we have Mercury, the planet of communication, in the same nakshatra, in the same Cancer. Think of how many deaths are done by Cancer. Okay, ruled by the moon, and then we have the position of Mercury here, because 1 and 20 equal 201, and 201 is the atomic mass, the most abundant mass of Mercury. Mercury is the planet of communication. You see what I'm saying? This is a scripted reality, folks. If you take his numerology, 43 is the 14th prime number. Well, here's the 14th nakshatra right there, right out in his ascendant line. Okay? And if you come back over here, the start of World War II, right on the ascendant line. All right? Just simple mathematics tied to numerology. If you take the numerology of the two cards, the birthday of Adolf Hitler and the birth card of the World War II start date, it's the 111. And then all we got to do is go back to the sun position. Here's the sun for Adolf Hitler's birth chart in the first nakshatra, in the first zodiac sign of Aries. And then the invasion of Poland, the sun is in the 11th nakshatra. And what happens when you take 11 and you mash it up with the number 1? You get 111. You see? You see how that works? So there's many more moving pieces to this, ladies and gentlemen, but I can assure you that this guy right here did not have a choice. He was destined to be a dictator of Nazi Germany. His Pluto position is in the 4th nakshatra called Rohini. Rohini is owned and operated by the god Brahma, the creator god. Well, when you have Pluto the destroyer in the 4th nakshatra of the creator god in the 8th house of death and regeneration, what do you think this guy was designed to do as he incarnated into Adolf Hitler? Then you come over to this chart, the actual invasion of Poland, starting World War II, and the Pluto is in the 8th nakshatra. He's got it in the 8th house. It's in the 8th nakshatra of Cancer, and Cancer, how many people die of cancer? This is the 4th sign. He's got it in the 4th nakshatra. You see, there's no escaping this code, folks. And then probably the humdinger of them all, and I'll leave it with this one, is Pluto the Destroyer. It's in the 8th nakshatra in the invasion of Poland, the starting of World War II. In Adolf Hitler's chart, it's in the 4th nakshatra. If you bring those two numbers together, you can get 84. And if you go to the periodic table, you're going to get polonium. See, I'm gonna go right here. So we go to the 84th element. It's polonium. What country did they invade? What country did Germany invade? Poland. And there's the 84. And you go back and Pluto's in the 8th nakshatra and it's in the 4th nakshatra for Adolf Hitler. And he invades Poland, the first country. Scripted reality, folks. I mean, there's so much more. The Mars position. I got more to show you, and I'll be breaking all this down. The Mars over here is in the 2nd nakshatra. They're called Barini, which is the god of destruction. Okay? This is what this guy was born to be, a destroyer. This dude. Okay? He was born to be a destroyer, but then the astrological chart of the first day of World War II, the official start date. You can't, it's pretty easy. I mean, Mars is in the 21st nakshatra, Saturn equals 21. You know, these are all big key players to all this reality, for sure. And, you know, with the nakshatra and Saturn being here in the first nakshatra here, the sun being here in the first nakshatra here, it's pretty crystal clear, folks, that this is all just a scripted reality. World War II and all the, and then you got to go back and you got to take into consideration, you're like, all 70, 80 million people lost their lives. But if you take into consideration that this reality is not real, do you start to, like when you go kill the ants, like I got ants here in my place and I live with them because I don't have the heart to, I'm not going to spray Raid or, sometimes, man, I'll be sitting here because they are everywhere, man. I got them kind of under control. They've taught me to keep myself super tidy and clean. So I made lemonade out of that, right? But sometimes I'll be sitting at my desk, spend hours in front of this thing decoding. Sometimes they'll go on my legs and then I'm like, God, you know, and then they piss me off. And I let my Mars go. I let my ego go and I get pissed. And I take out my dust buster. I have a stone floor, so it's easy. So I just take out my little vacuum. I suck them up, and I take them outside and I dump them outside. I don't kill them. Some of them may die in the vacuum, but I actually am responsible ethically, and I take them outside and I dump them outside. But I know some die, so I'm a killer. Do I ever give any thought to those ants' lives? Do I get upset? Do I cry? Do I get, am I emotionally involved with the death of these ants? They got families too. I do my best. But doesn't matter, folks. We are stone cold killers as human beings. And there's nothing you can do to change that. You can be as careful as you want to be as you articulate through life. Doesn't matter. So when you go to a fractal at a very defined level as it is to be a human being with these wars, there's no difference. There's no difference. I mean, there are people on YouTube that actually they'll take insects, they'll put like 1,000 cockroaches inside of an aquarium and they'll dump a scorpion there. Let's see what the scorpion will do. I mean, is that what's going on? Like, let's drop Adolf Hitler into the mix of things. Let's incarnate this body and see what he'll do. You already know what he's going to do because you already programmed to do it. This guy's going to take them to war. He's going to wipe out 75, 80 million people. But what is the reason why he did it? Because if you start to study Adolf Hitler, well, it's not just, you get into the Holocaust. There's a lot of other sides to the story. Anyways. Okay. Yep, the puppet master runs it all, folks. I mean, I'm going to throw this, I'll throw this out there and we'll do this collective conscious card pull. All right, big shout out to Santos because he's the one who inspired me to start decoding Christmas, the Christos, which I have coming out. And I got, like I said, I got 3 pages of notes right here. I got to put into I got to put all these slides. These take me a long time to put together, but it will be undeniable what this whole Christmas thing means through the source code. Forget about the stories that people make. And the big takeaway is that the Eagles came out with that song called Hotel California. I did a decode on Hotel. This is it. You're it. You're the hotel. And you ain't getting out. Is that true? Maybe. We may never get out of this reality. And then you'd be like, you may get pissed at that. I don't. I make lemonade out of it. I want to check out the things out the box. I want to level up. Because if there is such a thing as graduation, don't you want to graduate? You might as well start checking the things out the box. Stop doing the blame game. Stop pointing the finger. Stop getting angry. Stop giving your gas away to all these entities on the world stage. They're not giving you anything in return. So what's the point of you giving it to them? Pushing up against them. You're just giving them your gas, making them stronger. What a dumb way to live, in my opinion. Just freely giving away your energy, thinking you're going to make a difference. Anyways, the big takeaway, and we're going to get into the collective card pull, is the thalamus. Thalamus is 27 in numerology. Heaven is 27 in numerology. Where's the thalamus located? Cut your brain in half, locate the all-seeing eye of Horus in there. It's going to be the eye, the iris and the pupil of the Egyptian eye. Thalamus. 27. What's the 27th element on the periodic table? Cobalt. Cobalt is C and O. What does C and O spell out? Chaos and order. Your thalamus is responsible for chaos and order. What is cobalt's weight? 58. What's the numerology of Puppet Master? 58. So what do you think's running you? You think you running your life? I know. Not you though. But you're the exception. Just you. Just you. You're the one that has control over your life. Everybody else doesn't, but just you. I know. So we have to put an asterisk next to your name. The Great Dragon got hurled down. The Dragonfly card in the medicine deck, 27th card in the deck. That's why I say be the best. People get offended. I'm not a devil. The Great Dragon got hurled down, became a human being. Of course you are. Once you get perfect, then we can have a conversation. Come have a conversation with me when you do no wrong anymore. And then we can have a conversation about it. Okay. But those are some of the nuggets coming out of the Christmas one's going to be pretty big. And I don't even really celebrate it. So, but it's going to be a big one because it's really the Christos. We're all having the Jesus Christ Superstar experience. It's the third eye down to the solar plexus, the 6 and the 3. 63 is tied to the game of life, tied to the devil card, tied to copper. Okay, copper is in the solar plexus. It's called devil's copper. You're it. I'm it. We're it. Okay, you're the devil. That's it. You're the devil. I'm the devil. It's pretty easy to see, but maybe a little challenging to accept. All right, so let's do this collective card pull, man. Thanks for sticking with me, ladies and gentlemen. I hope you enjoyed the sneak peek of the World War Decoded coming up with Adolf Hitler and World War II. It's going to be a blockbuster. think that's all I wanted to share with you. Yeah, I think that's good for now. Oh yeah, the 27 digits of phi, 144. When you add them up. 27 digits of the golden ratio, when you add them all up, it's 144. And the 144 is the crown to hold it all in. It's pretty amazing, man. All a scripted reality. Okay, so let's do this, ladies and gentlemen. Let's get some music here. What do I put on? We're just going to do like, so the way we're going to do this is we're going to do 30 seconds of some kind of music. I'm going to jack it up a little bit. We're going to think about, like, personally for you, what do you see for the future? What do you want the future to look like? Where do you think the world's going? Where is it headed? What's coming down the pike for all of us? What does this age look like? Let's see what the tarot says. I've been shuffling these things like a madman now, so they're well shuffled. It doesn't matter. I don't even have to shuffle them because they're going to always come out the way they're supposed to come out. Okay? All right, so we're going to listen to a little bit of music for like 30 seconds. And you can do whatever you want for that 30 seconds. Let's see. I think I'll just bump this music up. I don't want to change it, so. Okay, so 30 seconds. We're going to come right back, ladies and gentlemen. Meditate, close your eyes, whatever the hell you got to do. And then we'll come back and we'll pull 3 cards, okay? All right. Like it doesn't make any difference anyway. I just kind of do that for like, I guess that's the ritual. So if there's rituals, we just did one. All right. So let's pull up, put on what I started with because we got probably a minute or two. This song right here. Okay. All right, so we're going to do the bottom, the middle, and the top. And let's see what the tarot has to say. See if we can interpret them for all of you. So I'm going to pick the deck up off the thing here. I'm not looking at it. I'm just going to face it right towards all of you. So that's the card at the bottom, and it's the Knight of Pentacles. Okay, this is going to be card number 76. Okay, 76 if you add the Fool in there. 76 or 75. These cards are always going to have a dual number to them because you can take the Fool out of the 22nd position and it moves all the cards back. So the tarot has 78 cards, but 77 if you take the Fool out of the 22nd position. So this is going to be card 75 or card 76 right here. Okay. So if that number is important to you and your reality, that may be some kind of indicator. Now we're gonna move to the middle of the deck, and I'm gonna get this as best as I can in the middle. Okay, we're just gonna right there. Looks good, and we're just gonna raise it up. And what do we have there? We have the Queen of Swords. It looks like that's right. We do. Now I'm not reading reverse cards. Okay, I'm just gonna read these upright. So we have the Queen of Swords and the Knight of Pentacles. And then what we're going to do is we're going to pull a card from the very back end of this to get the further, the last card, excuse me, to get a trifecta here. And we have the Two of Swords. Wow, interesting. Okay, so these are the 3 cards that we're dealing with here. We have, first and foremost again, we have the Knight of Pentacles, which is the Jack of Diamonds. The Jack of Diamonds. Interesting, because the Jack of Diamonds is the 37th card in the deck, tied to Eye in the Sky, tied to Shepherd, tied to the element rubidium, which has the electric eye on it through alchemy. It's tied to Sirius, tied to the speed of light through rhenium, tied to Lucifer. Okay. Then we had in the middle, we had the 63rd card in the deck. And it's the Queen of Swords, the Queen of Spades. Queen of Spades in the cards of illumination is card 51, tied to antimony, tied to the all-seeing eye. We were just talking about the all-seeing eye. But this is tied to Christmas through the numbers, because Christmas is, again, through the cards of illumination, 6 and 3. Third eye, solar plexus. So think about what I'm showing you here. Christmas is tied to the third eye, because December 25th is the 6 of hearts, and that's tied to the third eye chakra. And this is card 51, and I'm sorry, card 63, and that is Christmas. So we have now Christmas embedded. I got to try to make heads or tails out of this. So the beginning point, we have a Jack. The middle, we have the Queen. And then at the very tail end, we have the card of the Akashic, one of the cards of the Akashic records. It's the Two of Swords. This card right here is card number 52. 52 is tied to Prison Planet. Prison Planet numerology equals 52. Akashic Records, think about it. Akashic Records, Prison Planet. Okay? This card right here, you can put a figure 8 over there. If you use your imagination, you can put a infinity symbol right through this card. So the Akashic Records has the infinity symbol. This is representing the future in this context of this reading. Akashic Records, the future being written. And this is a representation. This card typically is, the meaning of it is at a standstill, not wanting to make a decision. But again, these have, when you look at these through multiple layers, numerology, tied to the cards of illumination, et cetera, you've got to start looking at a bigger audience here. So we have two swords and we have a diamond. These three. It's just so funny. This song, Another Year Lost in the Wasteland. Another Day Drowsed in Dust by King Buffalo. Buffalo's the 19th card tied to the sun. Another one dead in the wasteland. But anyway, so what does this mean? Let's see if I can do some magical interpretations of this. So the Knight of Pentacles, the Jack of Diamonds, this is the card of the United States of America. So it's the land of the free, home of the brave. The one that, wants to get out there and do some adventures. The Knights are always the ones that are going to be the action-oriented. Now, this Knight typically is not really on its high horse, not like the Knight of Wands or the Knight of Swords. Okay, but it is definitely a card of, and tied to the Knight. Right, so we have that on the back end, the beginning part. So this is like the past. So land of the free, home of the brave. Like, look what I got right here. Okay, this. And then in the middle, we had the Queen of Swords, card 63, tied to Christmas. So this may be tied to Christmas as well. Like, is it going to change for us? And this queen right here is a very authoritative queen. Okay, it's a very authoritative queen. It's tied to Jupiter. This is tied to Jupiter straight up. Jupiter and the moon. Okay, Jupiter and the moon, and then at the very tail end, we had the Two of Swords tied to the Prison Planet, tied to the Akashic Records, and the number 41. This is also tied to the Elohim. Elohim being 41 in numerology through the original Hebrew/Aramaic. This is card number 52, but through the cards of illumination, the Two of Spades is the 41st card. Twos always represent duality. Okay, twos always represent duality. So what do we have here? We have the Knight from the past moving through the Queen of Swords, who just doesn't take any shit at all. Trust me on that. The Queen of Swords is very authoritative, but it's working with the mind. So the mind is, it seems like the mind is now, a gift has been given to humanity, And the queen is there to be the authoritative figure to deliver that to the world stage. Let me add these up. And then we move through the two of swords, which typically means indecision and impartiality. But again, we have to add up these cards to get a further aspect of these. So let's add them up. 76 plus 63 plus 52. So we get 191. And 191 is tied to the 76th element called osmium, the Wizard of Oz. Personally, I can tell you right now, this is what I think this means. I think we're getting a new boss. I think we're getting a new boss in this reality. And the game's going to change, obviously. Yeah. I think the game's going to change, folks. I think a lot of people are really sitting, this card right here, for people, they're really unsure of what they want to do. They're really kind of sitting back waiting to see some kind of thing happen on the world stage. And that's like the indecision and impartiality. But I think the game is going to get a new boss. And you have the queen in the middle. You know, because it's always about the queen bee, folks. It's not the masculine, it's the queen bee. All right, the queen is what we like. Go to the bees. And the bees always work for the queen. But that's kind of what I sense for this right here. Let's get one more card just for good measures. Let me shuffle these. Let's see if we can get one more finalized card to see exactly what that whole combination was about. Another day lost in the wasteland. The song reminds me of being in the wasteland. I mean, that Queen of Swords, again, being in the middle, right? That Queen of Swords is tied to the 51st element. 51's tied to antimony. Antimony's tied to the all-seeing eye in the thalamus, which we talked about already. And this is going to be tied into this big decode I have coming out on Christmas and Christos. Christmas means the Jesus Christ Superstar experience. All right, so let's see if we can get, I'm reading some of your comments. Let's see if we can get one more rendition. That's the tarot. Like, okay, let's get a finalized version of what that card means. I'm going to pull it right from the middle of the deck. Okay, let's get the middle of the deck. There we go. Well, we got the Three of Swords. This is card 53. This is tied to iodine, tied to Yeshua, tied to the game of life, tied to the number 42, tied to the Truman Show. I'm reading this like the game. We got a new game coming. This knight's like, hey, I got something for you. Like here's what I got. Okay, coming into play. The Queen of Swords is very authoritative, feminine energy, working for the queen. Card 63. 63 is tied to the devil. The devil's tied to the game of life. The game of life's tied to light. And this is also tied to the 51st card in the deck called the Queen of Spades. The Queen of Spades works for Jupiter. 51st card in the deck's tied to antimony, the all-seeing eye. Antimony's tied to your brain, the thalamus, heaven. I mean, look at all the swords. We got 3 swords, man. That's all the physical vessel of being a human being. So we have the knight who's Lucy in the sky with diamonds, the only diamond of its kind, the pentacles. And we have all 3 other cards. They're all swords, representing the physical vessel of being a human being. And this card right here is tied to the game of life. That's why this is what you get when you come down here and play the game of life. You get a lot of this. Pain, suffering. It's a new game coming into town, folks. That's how I read this right here. Maybe you read it a different way. Maybe you can put your opinion in the description. Some of you have said... Some of you had said some comments. Hive mind. I'm seeing hive mind here. The hive mind has always been there. See, this is kind of, you know, what is the hive mind? And do you think you're a part of it? I mean, so Pamela brings up the errants. That's a phrase that Jason from Archaics has coined. However, I can tell you, I've decoded some of his life, and his life is scripted. So does he have a scripted life of an errant that he describes as somebody who's kind of the minority, who's outside the collective consciousness? Maybe. But then you would take into consideration that who owns that? Who owns that space and energy? Who owns that space and energy? That's the big question. Right? So anyway, I think that there's a new game in town. It's coming. I mean, the Queen of Swords is tied to Area 51 because it's tied to the 51st card in the deck. This is maybe where the locusts will come from the theological expressions, the changing of the guards. But ladies and gentlemen, this is not a time to have fear. There's definitely a new kid in town. There's a new game on the board for sure. It's coming. I mean, even at the bottom, we had the Eight of Hearts, which is, you know, leaving and walking away. Basically saying, hey, I'm out of here. I'm going to go try something different. So that's what I got, ladies and gentlemen. I hope that all of you got something out of this tonight. Many more ways to look at this, but it's pretty crystal clear. The game of life is going to change for all of us. And it will change for all of us, whether we like it or not. You know, stick with your truths. Create your utopia. Create your ripple out on the world stage. Be the best little devil you can be. Because that's how I all feel it works, man. Get yourself healthy. Get yourself in shape. Be able to run a mile if you can. You know, like all these things are important, I think so, in this reality. So, all right, ladies and gentlemen, thank you, each and every one of you, for all your contributions tonight. I really appreciate all of your support in this decoding world. There's so many great things on the horizon. This is the most exciting time to be alive right now. So that's a wrap for What's Your Question number 47. From Saturn's Day to Sunday. My name's Logan for Decode Your Reality. Ladies and gentlemen, until next time, we will see you later.